right, we got John Alite here. Thank you for coming in, John.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Many shootings, killings, federal cases, TV shows. You're everywhere.
Yeah, I've been busy.
They should call the show, what's the one that they got on now, on TV all the time? They go to you every 2 seconds. It's New York versus the Mafia.
Yeah.
Fear City.
Fear City.
I hope they're giving you a nice kick for that, man.
Yeah, I did okay with them, but, a lot of those shows is a lot of more attention that you get financially, so it is,
It works out in its own way.
Well, yeah, because you get all the gigs off it. You do all the magazines and, things like that, so.
They go to you every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It seems like, I said, let's call it Johnny City.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you got this Patreon thing going on.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Patreon's like...
Can you pull that up, Rob?
Yep. Patreon's for the private, people that get content that I don't put on my show, my weekly show. So they'll do a Q&A with me. They'll get, like, people always saying, where's your Ravenite tapes? And, you've never been to the Ravenite. So I put one of those videos out. And then I put a second video out. And everybody said, why did you hold it so long? And I said, because, I'm using on my time frame, first off. And second, because you're not here to prove anything to anybody. People that know you in the life know you. And it's in conjunction with some of the movies and shows I'm doing. So I put them out when I think it's time to put them out.
Oh, wow. So when you sign up here, if you go right here, we got the $8 plan, we got the $15 plan, and then the $25 plan. And so you're giving out, like, video from the social clubs, Q&A, all that? Wow.
And then some of the private, if I talk about different guys and I'll do a show on, guys that I looked up to. One of them was Johnny Cornelia. So I looked up to him and I did a little show on him and I just put it on Patreon. And, I talk about a true gangster. He was a true gangster, a fun guy. And, so I keep it to the guys that join and the women that join Patreon. And I'll keep that content there.
So if I get the mid-grade, if I get like the $15, do I get the video or I got to go to the VIP to get the video?
No, you get the video on.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's patreon.com, Mafia Truth with John Alite. Go there. We'll have that in the description.
Okay.
It's not a bad deal. I'd actually like to see it too.
Yeah.
So you're on there. You do all that. When you were growing up, like, what did you want to be? Because you grew up in Queens.
Queens. I grew up with the Ruggiano family that I talk about a lot, and the father who was the boss back in those days in our neighborhood. And he was the guy that was Albert Anastasia's guy with Murder Inc. So I was around that family, and I was a baseball player. They were actually my coaches, and I'd box down at the Lost Battalion Hall with them and other guys, David Sears that fought Michael Spinks, and those guys were all in the same gym with me, Jerry Cooney. I did a radio show with him. So, all of us grew up kind of together, and, I wanted to be an athlete. That's what my father wanted me to be.
So your goal was, like, to make it to the MLB.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So then you grow up, you go to school, then you end up going to Tampa to college, right?
Yep, University of Tampa, yeah.
And then you get a scholarship offer to play baseball.
Yeah, I had two crazy coaches. Coach Cavanaugh was a pro pitcher, and Coach Pete Mullery was a Tampa Catholic. He was a phenomenal coach that won, like, dozens of championships. And then he brought it over to the University of Tampa, and he touted me at one of my games in Frank and Kane Lane, and they brought me over. I ended up playing only for a half a season or close to a season, and I had an arm injury, and that was it. But they brought me over to UT, and had a great program, won a couple World Series. People that know UT, they got a great baseball program.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And then what made you walk away from it? It just didn't heal right?
Yeah, they had Tommy John surgery back
Oh.
then. It wasn't successful back then.
Did you have that? No, you didn't have
A
it?
friend of mine had that.
Yeah, it just never was the same.
No, you know what? Because back in those days, I wasn't, as a young kid, I pitched. But later on, I caught, and I played second base, shortstop. But we didn't have pitch counts back then. We'd throw 500 balls a day, and you're killing your arm.
Right.
And you don't realize that you should, there should be a count on how often you're throwing a ball. You go in the outfield, you're not warming up properly, and you end up, I had bone fragments in my elbow, and so and you killed your own career. But
And now when you were growing up, you were in the same neighborhood as John Gotti Jr. or Junior, right?
Well, he was up 2 neighborhoods up. I was up on Jamaica Avenue and kind of in the area where his father grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn. I was in East New York, Queens, Brooklyn borderline, and Jamaica Avenue. So, yeah, different. We come from kind of poverty areas.
Yeah. Now, you're in college. You got the scholarship to baseball. And you actually you have the build of a baseball player. When you go back to his photo, you got that chest line, man.
Yeah.
You got to teach us how to get that.
I never lift weights really. It was just all push-ups, pull-ups, boxing, jumping rope. So it was you wanted to be in those days. You wanted to be cut up. You didn't want to be bulky.
Yeah.
You wanted to have bat speed, and so you want that torque. And later on, as when you're getting older, you want to get a little bigger because of girls and whatever.
Yeah. Now you were big and shredded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do all that, and then you hurt your arm. Now, when do you start to turn into the whole mafia thing? Are you already dabbing?
Yeah, I'm dabbling. I mean, everybody around me is gangsters. My father's friends are all gangsters. My uncle's involved with the Detroit mob. My other uncle's involved here in Queens with them. So I was always dabbling, and like I said, the Ruggianos were like my my mentors, and so I was around the father, who was obviously a famous gangster, and so really your access to them is like a normal world, even though it's not. We know it's not a normal world, but for us it was a normal world.
Right, and then plus you had the injury, so there goes baseball.
Yeah, there goes baseball. My friends were wild kids. They were all. I was actually the least wild of all my friends. All my friends were already selling drugs, killing guys, shooting guys, getting stabbed up, getting shot. And I was really the slowest one out of all of them.
To come to.
Yeah.
Basically, it's over the earth, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of Gotti, I saw a thing about how much you hated the John Travolta movie with Gotti.
I actually am a Travolta fan.
Yeah, pull up that one. It's up there. It's the third one. Yeah, they got you.
Yeah,
they got you on there. They put a whole article on there.
I actually didn't say much about it because I didn't watch the movie. I just said that I'm a Travolta fan.
Yeah,
and I was reading a lot of the I guess it got bad reviews. I forget what they call it, but
it wasn't good.
Yeah.
But being that it's Travolta, I personally would have thought that it would have been really good. So I went to see it, and it was kind of boring.
Yeah,
it didn't have that feel that it should have, or they could have made it out to be. Whether you hate him or not, or love him, whatever it may be. I thought Travolta could have done a way better job.
Well, I'll tell you, the Gotti movie that was good was Amon Asante.
Yeah.
He actually played a good part.
Yeah,
so that was a good movie. I was surprised Travolta didn't play it. Maybe he's at the end of his career too, a little bit. So who knows?
Yeah, I thought that was good too.
Yeah,
that was 10. That was back when Donnie Brasco came out. Right?
Yeah, I think that came out in around '96 or something like that. The Amon Asante one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. So now you're starting to lead into the mafia life. Associate soldier, but you're Albanian.
Yeah.
Your grandparents are Albanian.
Albanian, yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of Albanian friends. I know one thing. Don't fuck with them. Great people, but fucking crazy.
Yeah, very short-tempered, yeah.
Short-tempered. Yeah. I would say no, I mean, it's just, you're done.
Yeah.
But, loving, but you cross them. That's it.
Yeah.
Run real fast.
Yeah.
And
well, once, we talk about that. Once loyalty's lost, everybody's got their beliefs on what the way they should handle, and that's on them. So, I have my belief, and, I stick by it.
Yeah, I can tell you this. Every Albanian friend I have is loyal as can be.
Yeah.
And will take the shirt off their back until you fuck them.
Yeah.
Then they're going to hang.
They go the other way.
They go the other way.
Yeah.
So, once again, you're dipping and dabbing. Now, when does it really become like, okay, this is where I'm headed?
Well, a lot of my friends were, in some of the books and the rumors that I was involved with 7 and 9. It was a gang that all our friends grew up in. And I wasn't involved in that gang, but I had a lot of friends in that gang. So they were already involved, like I said, in murder and robberies and shootings and different things. So I would stay with them, but I wasn't a member of 7 and 9. So I think that was another big impact on my life in the criminal world. And we started selling drugs, and you got involved in dabbling with drugs, and as well as I do, once you start dabbling with drugs, the violence comes with it, whether you like it or not.
It's just part of it.
It's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're dabbling with the drugs, and are you kind of associated now with the Gambino crew or not yet? You're kind of...
No, I'm associated with the Ruggianos, and actually Fat Andy and Anthony go back and forth to jail, and Albert doesn't go to jail, and Anthony still jokes about, when I got away from them. He used to tell his brother, "How'd you let this fucking kid get away from us?" Because you're a kid, you still don't really, you're not really understanding. This is your home, so you're friends with this because your neighborhood. Everybody knows each other from different crews. You start staying with this crew. I'm staying with Frankie Burke, Jimmy Burke's son. I was very close with him, and then later on, years later, he gets killed. But we're all friends, and you're not looking at it as so much as I'm a mobster. I'm not a gangster. I'm just friends with them. So if my friend says take a ride, you take a ride. If a guy says, "Hey, let's go hit the airport. We're going to do a score. We're going to hijack a truck." We didn't say, "Oh, is he with the Gambino family or is he with this?" Just a group of our friends who happened to be guys around the Gambino family. We'd go rob. We'd hit a score at the airport.
Yeah. So it was like basically you grew up with everybody, you hung out with them, all your life. So it was just normal. It wasn't like, "Oh, I'm with the Gambinos or the Genovese or Lucchese, whoever." It was just like, all right, just going for a ride like I've done all my life.
Yeah, I mean, my older cousin, he gets killed. He gets killed young, actually, about 26. He was, he was working for Cyril Perone, in the Genovese family with Johnny Santora. These are guys people really don't talk too much about, but Johnny was a major tough guy too. He was muscle for Cyril Perone, and later on in life he gets straightened out, but he died. And him, my cousin, they were all partners. They were all friends. And so even though that's my cousin, he's with another crew. My other cousin, Patsy, his father, the one that died, his son ends up dating Richie Gotti, Senior Gotti's brother's daughter, for 6 years. So that was my other cousin's, so he's around with them through the daughter, actually. He was dating for 6 years. So, we're all without, we intermingled. It's kind of like ancestry.
I think you had pretty much no chance after that Tommy John. I mean,
yeah, my author Lou Romano in his new book I just did, Mafia International, he talks about zip codes, and I always bring it up. So we live in a zip code, that. So if you're from South Philly and you're in that area, most likely you're going to end up in the street somewhere. I mean, not a lot of guys don't, but there's your chances. It's right in front of your face. It's easy money. The fun of going hanging out, the camaraderie I always talk about, and it's part of it.
Yeah, like no waiting in line.
No,
everybody kisses your ass.
Yeah.
It's booked to get the table.
It's hard to walk away from that.
It becomes addicting.
And as a young man, you want the attention. I talk different now because I'm trying to talk to kids about, don't live that life. Have a different life. Enjoy your life. You spent a lot of time away. Other guys spent a lot of time. That's not really life, man. There's so many other ways to make a good living. And, and I push that agenda on the young guys and people that want to hate on because I'm pushing and I'm telling kids to have a good life. Well, I'm sorry. They feel like, to me, it's like just immature stuff, the way they act. And do something positive. Stop. Yeah. None of us want to drag our kids in the street. So anybody that says anything different is lying. I got one son now in jail. So, somebody asked what he was in jail for, and, he was in jail for, the first time for a shooting. So, and unfortunately, that's some of the things that I got to take the blame for because he's seen me doing things like that. And no matter what I say, he followed it. And that's the last thing you want.
Yeah, I saw you and your son. I don't know what show it was on. It was on something.
Yeah, recently. Yeah,
he was jacked.
Yeah, my kids are in good shape.
Yeah, you got them in good shape, boy. Yeah, that's another one you don't want to write.
Yeah, they're good athletes in good shape.
Yeah, he was in real good shape. Yeah. Both of you guys.
But he doesn't get involved in street stuff at all, which I'm proud of. So
yeah, and like I was telling you before we got on, Michael Dow was in yesterday. He talked so highly of you. He said you were the first one to help him when he needed some help.
Yeah, he's a good guy, Mike.
Great guy. So just so he knows that I told you, he had great things to say about you.
Thanks, crazy Mike.
And he's doing the same thing you're doing. Trying to teach these cops. Look, if you get in this, be sure this is what you want to be because you're gonna have a hell of a time. And what you're doing now, I think, should be more appreciated, that you're going and telling, people, look, stay the fuck away from this shit.
Well, I had a real close friend that was a cop, detective. I don't know if you know that.
No.
He did a murder with me. He sold drugs with me. He bookmake with me. And people say to me, "Oh, you don't really like him." That's not true. He was a real cheap bastard. I mean, he made big money with me. I made him a multimillionaire. And then when I needed him, he abandoned me. Yeah, but I'll tell everybody the truth. When we were on the street, he's not that tough with his hands, but he's tough with a gun, and he stood with me. He was one of the tougher guys on the street. But as soon as we got jammed up, people were saying, "Oh, when he's in jail, he's a cop." When he was on the street, he was okay because he was helping guys. So that's that double standard of that life and the treachery. But I still speak highly. I mean, I try to speak the truth about the guy. He was tough. He was tougher than 90% of the guys that were on the street. But just his downfall, he was a cheap bastard. And if you ever wanted a drink and you were starving and thirsty, you're gonna die. he ain't picking up a tab.
He's like in that, right?
No.
That reminds me of somebody else that I happen to know. So you got 4 kids too, right?
Yeah.
How many girls did he get?
One girl. Yeah, 3 boys.
You're the only one.
Yeah.
You got 3 boys. I got a girl.
Yeah.
A couple of friends that we know, all girls. You got 3. Lucky.
Yeah.
I got a 10-month.
Oh, do you?
I'll come back in 8
So you don't
months.
sleep that much?
No. No, she's not too bad. So you got 3 boys, 1 daughter.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then, so now things are rocking and rolling, and then you run into Charlie Corneglia. Am I right that this is when the heat starts happening? Because the first time you got indicted.
Well, on the major one, we knew a RICO case was coming, and Johnny's away, his brother, who we're all loyal to Johnny. And then Charles steps in, but, we don't have a lot of respect for him because he's getting high a lot. He's shooting up, he's smoking crack, he's doing different things. He's not a gangster like Johnny. And we try to be loyal to him because of Johnny, and very difficult to do, obviously, if somebody's a junkie and a drunk and these other things, Wild guy, but, anything you do with him, you can't trust him. And, we did some crazy things. We robbed a funeral parlor, Papa Vera funeral parlor. He was involved with us. We robbed a Sears out in Vineland, New Jersey. We held up the place, had about $600,000-700,000 at that time in a safe. We aligned that up with the guy's dead now, but he was an ex-cop, ex-warden that was in on it, setting up the cameras for us. So it was kind of, we did it with a little intelligence. We didn't go in there like armed robbers and that's it. So, but, he was involved in some of those robberies, and when the things went down, he, in all of our opinion, he didn't do the right thing. He didn't do the right thing by Johnny's stepson, who I speak highly of. People want to badmouth the guy, but the guy did a lot of work on the street, and he was a good guy. So I'm never going to talk bad about Johnny's stepson. I like him. People say, well, he testified against you, he gave you up. Listen, for me, that life's done. So I ain't got no hard feelings with any of these guys that testified against me. I just kind of keep it moving. It's my past. And I look at the guy that he was a lot tougher than most of these guys too. So when they talk about it, and he was very loyal to Johnny. So, unfortunately, when Johnny left, things changed, and that's life. I mean, we can't go backwards whether we like it or not.
No, if you hold a grudge, you're just hurting yourself anyway. Yeah. Right? Because you're the one who's just let it go. You're right.
Yeah, I'd let it go. I mean, dozens of guys, testified against me, and a lot of those guys I still talk to now. So people are like, well, why do you talk to them? I said, because I really changed my life.
Yeah, it's over. So
it's
what
over.
does it matter?
Yeah,
right?
my war is over. It's done. So, I'm just, doing the thing, what I'm doing. And my life's about talking about kids, moving forward, positive stuff, and, having a decent life again.
And then in 95 with Corneglia, Charles. Now, here's the thing. Like, knowing he's doing drugs, knowing that he's getting high all the time, weren't you worried doing, this type of activity with him, knowing that he's fucked up?
100%. We're walking in the house and he's smoking out of, he's piping it up. So, and his brother was away, so he doesn't know. He thinks he just has a drinking problem. He doesn't know that he's smoking crack. He doesn't know that he's shooting up. He doesn't know that he knows that he's not intelligent, and he knows that he doesn't belong in the life. He knows it. His family knows it. They didn't want him around him. But it's his brother, so you got to, somewhat he obviously loves his brother. So he's got, he was in a bad spot. Because when you're in jail, you know this, you need people to do favors for you. People are taking your money, and listen, when Johnny's in front of you, guys are petrified. And he's not just a talker, he's the guy that's doing it. So he's not sending me or anybody else anywhere before he does it. So that's why you got such respect for him when you're in that life. But when you got a brother like that who's not doing the right thing for you and breaking weak when you want things, and he's not being loyal to his brother, and at times he was, and then he wasn't, then he's playing, he's playing triple hands. So, it's just the facts of what happened, and none of us can change it.
But I mean, like, the captains didn't see that, he's doing coke, or nobody really knew?
Oh, they know. Everybody knew.
And they let it go?
Yeah, they let it go, and this is the problem with the mob. He had no business being straightened out. I mean, he's one of the guys that got straightened out in my house, actually. So, these guys are getting made in my house, and, these guys, they didn't belong in those positions. It's just... sometimes everybody thinks it's better to have an army of guys, 100, made guys. You're better off with 10 made good guys. Not, guys that belong in the life, not loose cannons, not guys that are going to kill a guy for no reason and a guy for, he did some dumb murders. I mean, really, stupid things for no reason, for petty things. And this is the downfall. And then when you got a guy that's getting high to the extent he is, you're going to bring everybody down, and his thinking's not normal, and you can't trust him. Because one day he's on your side, the next day he's against you. One day he's trying to set you up, the next day he's not. So, and that's exactly what happened with Johnny's stepson, adopted son, with Charles. He was trying to be loyal to a guy that's not being loyal back. And he's doing it because of his love for his father. Right. Not for the caring of Charles. So, and again, it is at this point exactly what happened, and there's nothing you can do about it. So.
And probably... just in my opinion, I don't know, but his John Carneglia, held a ton of weight. Like you were saying before we started. I mean, he was like the gang, he's a gangster.
Well, when you're talking about gangster, he was good with his family. He was a smart street guy. He was fun to hang out with. He loved to go out with his family and party and go to the Hamptons. I mean, there's a book out, it's called Gotti's Boys now. And it talks about all of us at his house and on video. I guess somebody got the video of all of us at his house. So, that was the guy on the boats, on the Harleys, laughing all the time. But then when things got serious, if he asked you to do it, trust me, he already did it. He's not one of those guys sitting at home going, hey, go do this for me, and didn't do it. He did all that work. So nobody hesitated for him because they're saying, listen, he never gave up any of his guys. He had some guys like this, during the shootings years ago, Anthony Stabile and them, this guy Banky, guys that were around Johnny. He protected them. Anybody else would have had those guys killed and give them up. So he had very loyal qualities, Johnny. And he had, he was, and again, he taught his kids well. He raised his kids. He's got good kids. And he had really a nice wife. So, but the disloyalty is when he's in jail and his own mother-in-law died, all of a sudden, nobody wants to go to his wake. This is a guy that if he steps out in the door, they're shitting themselves. Now, all of a sudden, you're disrespecting him. You won't go to his mother-in-law's wake. This is what the treachery of the life that I talk about. How do they do this to this man that not only went to jail, he took an extra 20 years he didn't have to take. Yeah.
Explain that story because he could have done, what did you say, 12?
He got 12 years. He would have did all law now. So he would have did tops 9. 9 years, and he would have came home a young man. Instead, he listened to his boss, who was John Gotti Sr., who said, you're not taking no plea, you're going to trial. So, and it was one of the longest running cases, by the way. He kept getting different things were going on. But he actually, and it shocked me that he did it, because everybody knows a running boss lasts 5-7 years tops. So by the time, if he would have just took the 12 and said, oh, let him bitch, let him do this and that, I'll be out, he's going to be gone probably anyway.
Right.
Because Johnny was a free-thinking guy, like I said. He wasn't that guy when he was getting a phone call from John. He would make fun of him, he would tease him in a good way. They were close. But he wasn't that guy, like when he said, sit here and play fucking pinochle all day. He would get the hell out. I ain't sitting there playing pinochle. I'm busy with my kids. I'm busy on the boat. I'm having a good time. I'm not playing cards all day. That's not me.
Right. And, I have some free time where I don't have a job to do. I'm going to be with my family or...
See, and a lot of guys like us loved hanging around with him because he was fun. And then there's other guys that you're sitting there and you're just, looking at your watch every 2 seconds, like, when are they going to release us so we can go back home? Because we're miserable.
The same shit over and over.
And I just talked about Joe. Guys, with Joey, listen, you can dislike him or like him. That's not the point when I tell guys when I talk about him. Well, it doesn't matter how he feels about me, but you got to be honest. The guy's a fun guy to go hang out with. When he's around, the party's starting. So, you know, that's just being as a group of guys, forget about gangsters. You know you're going to have fun. That was Johnny Kinnick. So when you're with Johnny, you know you're going to have a good time.
And nobody's going to fuck with you.
And nobody, listen, anybody talks any different about John. You know, I heard stories too. A guy told me he had a problem in the yard and whatever happened, doesn't really matter to me. I says, you know, guys talk about that too. You know, everybody doesn't win every fight. I mean, this is stupid mentality of guys. Oh, this guy sucker punched him, he knocked him cold. So what? I says, well, you're talking about a gangster. Let him try that when he's in a different position. I says, and he's out in the street, and when a guy gets older, what are you supposed to do? You're getting older. You're not a kid anymore. So, you know, this is, again, these are dumb comments from guys that ain't from the street.
Dude, they have no idea what they're talking about.
No, I know guys that challenge Joey. I know stories, and I tell everybody, you challenge him because you know he's handcuffed. If his hands ain't handcuffed, you're never going to challenge him. If this was a different year, he's got heat all over him, we get it. You might not like him. Just say you don't like him. But don't try to act like you're punking him, because he ain't punking the guy. I says he ain't a fighter with his hands per se, but other ways he is a tough guy. So when guys do talk like that, these are guys that aren't schooled in the street at all, because they talk nonsense. They're always pulling up bullshit. They always got to, listen, I talk very highly about enemies of mine. And because when I was in that life, either they were real guys and real gangsters, I'll give them what they were. But I ain't going to badmouth them because I don't like them. I says, if I don't like them, I says, I'll just say I don't like the guy if he's a punk, this, that. But if he's a tough guy, you got to say the truth. The guy's a tough guy in the street, you know. And I say it a lot about that. Everybody hears me talk about Vito Guzzo. You know, we were on the opposite sides. We started off as friends. But the guy is a wild guy. So if I started lying and saying, oh, he ain't, he's a punk, then I'm full of shit. The guy's really a real guy. So I use him as one of the examples, and I use a ton of other guys. Another guy, Benny Gerentano, who's a very good friend of mine, he's in Comstock now. And he got fucked over real bad by guys. And, you know, guys left him there, and they leaving him there to die. And the guy's got about 25 years in. And he's a serious guy. Ain't nobody's going to step in front of him and talk shit about him in front of him. No way. They're never going to do it. But, you know, I hear guys talking about him, too, because he's locked in a cage now. So, you know, this is some of the things that I keep talking about, the treachery of guys who talk out their ass about serious guys. They could say if they don't like him, hey, I don't like him. But don't talk like he's a punk, because he's not. Far from it.
Yeah, and a lot of this YouTube shit now. Everybody and their mother is a gangster on YouTube now, and you know, some of the guys are, some aren't, and they're talking shit that, like you just said, about guys that are locked up. But these are guys that are going to get out one day. Yeah, well,
they line up to attack me, and I swear to God, people know me. I laugh all day. Some of the stuff I see is actually funny, and I says, I'm not going to answer all this nonsense. I says, because anybody else wouldn't be getting up in the morning, putting their pants on. They'd go out and put their pants on, go to the beach, go here, go there, go with their family, go with their girls, go with their friends, go with their guy friends, whatever. But they're not going to do that. And anybody that's doing that really can't have much of a life. So you got to say to yourself, maybe if you did it once, I get it. Okay, guy doesn't like me, talk. Yeah, you go, and then end it. But when you do it day in and day out, something's mentally wrong. I mean, there's something missing mentally for guys to do this every day.
Yeah, I mean, that would just be like a sociopath in a way, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is, and then continuously talking. And, like, see, your situation's different. Like, I knew who you were. You know, I had heard about you through other people and saw you on TV and all that other shit, you know, little spits of you on different. But when you read the whole situation, not like the little bits and pieces.
Right.
That's like when I'm asking you stuff, I'm asking you part of it because it's what I read, and a lot of shit that you read isn't what it is. So I don't want to sound like a complete asshole, you know, maybe just half of an asshole with, John Alite here. But, when you read all of it about you, and you read it from beginning to end, and there's a ton of shit. Right. So it's not, but if somebody has something to say about you, read everything before you make your opinion on you, because I learned things I didn't know, because all you hear is, oh, well, he ratted on Junior. He ratted on this guy. Yeah, but what else happened?
Right.
What came to that? And I think once you read it, the entire thing, and you got 4 books out now, right?
4 books.
Okay, so, you go through them. I think anybody that has something to say about you might think a little bit differently. Maybe.
Well, you know what I say now? Because people ask me, why do you always defend yourself? And I'm like, it's not that you defend yourself. You just want to listen. You want to call me a liar? Call me a liar. It's your prerogative. You want to say embellish? Say I embellish. But when you're saying I'm a liar, say specifically what am I lying about? At least say it specifically so you can answer, not me or anybody else can answer. Say, what are they lying about? You know, so I go through this. We just talked about this. They talked about the 800,000 I sent to Brazil. My friend is the one who put it all over the internet. Pay each wire transfer 800,000.
Your friend, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he took my 800 grand. Now, you know, I owned the property. That's 15 acres of estate with boxing rings and all the Philly guys, because you're from over there. They were all on my property, most of those guys. They all know my property. So, you know, they know it's a multi-million-dollar property. What people that know, like my nightclub say. And my nightclub was $31,000 a month in rent.
Damn.
I mean, trust me, if you don't have money, you can't pay these things.
That was the Tampa nightclub?
Yeah, one of my Tampa. And you know, several. I had Mirage, I had Moet's, I had American Cowboy, I had Stampedes. So you don't open these clubs unless you have a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
So, you know, but the point is when guys are talking about this stuff, you can call me a liar. What are you going to call me a liar every day? Is that it every day now? Different guys. So, listen, I really don't care who calls me a liar, to be honest with you. Unless they're my friend, who cares? So I'm not going to answer every one of these dumb things that they keep continuing to go after me. Because I don't waste my time talking about, say, Bobby so-and-so on the internet. Why am I going to watch him if I don't like him? Why am I going to comment if I don't care for him? Why am I going to say anything?
Just don't watch it.
Don't watch him. But when somebody does this obsessively, day and night and day, and, you know, hiring trolls and coming after me day and night, something's really missing in their life. Because if I got all that extra time, I want to spend it with my kids. I want to spend it with my girl. I want to spend it, you know, going for a drink or going to a ball game or a play or a show. Who does this day and night? You got to say something's really wrong, that they keep trying to do this. For what? What's the end game? What's the purpose? So me and you can end that purpose here, right? And they'll get on your show and curse and yell and this and okay. Let's end this. Say I'm the biggest liar or bullshit artist around. I ain't a tough guy. Never did no killing. But here's what I do. I help kids. I do the right thing. And what are they going to tell me I don't? Because then what am I doing in all these organizations? For the rest of what they really think or care, I don't care. I really don't give a shit what they got to say. That's why I walked away from that life. That's why the guys that testified against me I'm friends with now. Because I really don't care. I let it go. But when people can't let it go, it's because they don't have their own life. So they're not going to be watching me. You know, if they see you, if they see you somewhere and you're doing well, what do you mean so jealous for? Go follow what he's doing. Try to, you know, mimic what he's doing and make money. But what do you care what he's doing?
Jealousy and envy.
Yeah, there's no other reason for it.
And you know, John, the guy that's making that comment on your comments, I don't even read my shit. You know, it's probably it's either a 40-year-old guy who's watched Goodfellas 10,000 times, Donnie Brasco 20,000 times, The Bronx Tale, whatever, and little fucking white nut huggers with the yellow and blue band on the top, right? With what's potato chips and a fucking Budweiser. You know, hasn't shaved his balls in a month, and you know what I mean. That's the guy leaving the comments, because who the fuck has time to leave those? Who has time to do that?
Nobody does. Because here's the thing: if it's a guy that really don't like me and he's a gangster, he's not writing about me. He's coming to kill me.
Right? Why would he put it on? He'd be an idiot to put it on.
Right. So he's coming to kill me. So it's only jerk-offs that do this.
So my nut hugger theory is probably pretty good.
Pretty right. Yeah, it's pretty clear.
I'm good on this one, right?
You know. So, you know, everybody's always worried where I'm at, where'd you go into, who you talking to. You know, what do you care? What do you really care what I'm doing? This is the thing. Like, what's your obsession with me? You know, like, all right, how many times can you call me a liar every day? They come up with all these stupid things. A rat, a lie. Like children, like 8 years old. And then pictures of me in my underwear, pictures of me in a hat, pictures of, and I just
got to laugh at it.
I do laugh at it. I actually laugh at it. People think, you know, the only time I get a little annoyed is when they try to drag my kids. My kids ain't gangsters.
That's fucked up. No.
Stay away from my kids. Stay away from personal things. Don't be, you know, you want to dig in personal people's lives. I can do the same because I know a lot. And I've always held myself back about really personal things I know about a lot of guys and their families. And I don't do it because I don't want to hurt their families and their kids and this and that. But I know a ton of shit that I don't bring out. And everybody asks me, why not? And I says, because I want to be a gentleman. I don't want to be that asshole that looks so desperate that you do that. So these guys that are doing that with me, I just laugh and say, there's something wrong with them. Because every single day, if you go on that YouTube, and I welcome everybody to go on and go look and say, what kind of life is this? What are they trying to accomplish here? What you got to say to like, all right, you called him a liar already. You called him things that he says not true, or he's exaggerating, or he wasn't this big shooter, or he was. All right, all that. Say the right. Say the 100. Let's give him a right. Oh, you're right. You guys all going to stop writing that now?
Yeah.
They're not. So you got to say why.
You know what I like that you said, and I wish every woman would listen to what you said. When they call you a liar, what did I lie about?
Right.
And that goes across the board. Friends, women, that's a good thing.
Well, they can't because, you I know you hear a lot of my stuff and you read about it and you got a lot of friends that know me. So when I talk about specific incidents by name, I mean, I don't know what else you could say. I'm saying their name. I'm saying their location. Saying where it happened. So where am I lying?
Yeah.
What am I saying? Am I saying?
And if you really give a fuck, you can write this. You could do this thing called the Freedom of Information Act.
Right.
And you can get it in a week.
All right. How about this? I shot 15 people. No, you're a liar. Okay, I shot 5. Does it matter? Is that there's something going on with that? Whether it's 5 or 15 or 30 or 40. So when they get into this, I want to know what do they care if it's 1? What do they care if it's 10? What's your point? The point is, at this point, I really don't care. I'm not a street guy anymore.
It's over.
I'm a businessman, and I'm a guy that's trying to help kids, and I'm a guy trying to enjoy my life, whatever way that is.
Right. And so, look, everybody did bad shit, And when I look at you, I say, look, I highly doubt, and I don't know, but I highly doubt that you killed anybody that didn't know the rules, knew what they were getting into, knew what they were doing. It's not like you just walked up and killed somebody because, they took your cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And whether, like you said, whether it's 1 or 40, what the fuck does it matter?
Well, I hear so many stories, even in Brazil. Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh, the jail was nothing. It was bullshit. Oh, you got raped in jail. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's laugh about that too. All right, I got raped in jail. All right, now what? What's your point?
Yeah, well, they said that about John Carnegie, too, and I can tell you for a fact.
Yeah.
No.
But it doesn't matter. Yeah. Here's the point. What are they going to do? They're going to say, look, Johnny said that he got raped in jail. We're going to say that he got raped in jail now. Listen, I can say it for you. These are stupid acts. I had a situation growing up with a priest, and they said it was a lie. It wasn't true. Whatever happened with me and my friends. Something happened. I'm not trying to badmouth the Catholic Church because a lot of those priests did help me also. So I'm just a realist. I talk the way I talk, and people don't like it because I just talk straight. It doesn't matter to me what they think or believe, or if they think he's tough. I'm not tough. I'm not Mike Tyson and getting paid every day to fight everybody. Those days are over. When I was on the street, when guys wanted to challenge me, I guess they had plenty of opportunities to do it. They didn't do it. You want to challenge me now? I'm sorry, I'm too busy. I says, but if you want to challenge me to hurt me, then I guess I will see if I'm that different, and then we'll see what I do. But that's not my life anymore. So, when they're trying to drag you in or think that they can get to my ego, I learned humility over the years. So I learned how to, conduct myself different like a man, not like I used to do. Because before, like I used to do was I'll use words about myself I always use. I was an animal. I was a killer. I was a piece of shit. I was insecure, so I hurt guys left and right. And people say, oh, you didn't hurt nobody. So for the people who say I didn't hurt people, okay, I didn't. Good. I mean, I don't know what to say to these guys.
You just type your name in, and it goes from you killed 30, you killed 26, you killed 6, you shot 50, you shot 100. What the fuck number is it? I mean,
you guys are involved. It's any street guy, so let's, some of your friends, we won't use your situation. Some of you, they shoot 3 or 4 guys. Did they go over there with a doctor's kit and say, let's see how many died? These comments are from, like you just said, popcorn eaters in front of a TV, or jealousy of some sort, because it's not a bragging thing. It's me saying exactly what I did because I'm telling kids don't do it. So when people say, I don't think the FBI just knocked on my door one day and said, okay, we're charging you with all these shootings and killings because I didn't do it. So they charge me with them for a reason. If they didn't, I could sue them. If all these people are saying I didn't do it, can you help me sue them so I can make $100 million?
Yeah.
Because I was in jail for a lot of years for shit that they said I did. So And all these guys that ratted on me, I guess they were all lying too. Should I blame them all and tell them, oh, they're rats or they're lying? Come on, they gave me up, whatever. They wanted to be free. I understand it. I'm not as naive as everybody else.
If the FBI came to your house and accused you of shootings and killing people and everything else, you did it. Otherwise, you would be suing them, and you sure as fuck wouldn't be sitting across from me. You'd have your feet propped up, talking to kids, and that's about it.
And I wouldn't have stayed in all those, camp jails that people say in Brazil was, which
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know firsthand from guys.
So now, with that whole situation, so in it was 95, you're with Charlie Carneglia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And now, when do you get the hit to take out Junior?
About that time, they give me guns about 95. And again, actually, when I get out, they try to re-insinuate. They try to redo the hit. They're asking me to hit him again. So they asked me a couple times, but the problem is when they gave me the guns, not the problem. And they called the hit off, and they came through, initially through Charles. When they call the hit off, I won't give the guns back. So people know, I really don't even care for that part. It doesn't matter to me what any of these people believe or disbelieve. It doesn't matter. It really is not important to me, any of this. But the facts of what happened, Charles is staying with us, just like I said. We did a couple of robberies at the time. He said this and that. He said his brother wanted it done. Whether that's true or not, when I talked to Johnny on the phone, maybe he didn't have anything to do with it. It was just Charles. I don't know. I just know that when I get on the phone, they go, yeah, and you're going to take care of that or whatever he said. I assumed it was what he told me it was. Charles told me it was. So, but did he give me the guns? Of course he did. And guys from my neighborhood own a tattoo shop. I put the guns there, and I refused to give them back. And I told everybody, don't give them back until I'm back in jail. I says, nobody gives those guns back. So we didn't give the guns back, and Charles was panicking because he said he's going to know we were trying to hit him. And I'm like, listen, it doesn't matter to me. This was just what I was asked and told to do, and that was my job, and this is what I did. And, he can take it personal or not. They talk about hitting me, too. That's the life with all of us, and it's part of the treachery, and it
went both ways.
I mean, I'm so sick of this with all these dumb people on the street that, never did anything, and they talk like this, because they'll say, oh, he's full of shit, and they'll challenge me, but you guys all know I've done this through names. I didn't just say, pick up, yeah, this happened over there and nobody knows about it. So,
Well, I mean, you're on fucking TV.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, they're not just going to put Hobo on national TV.
Well,
I mean, they do, but what I'm saying is, you did what you did.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, this book, Mafia International, actually, I bring in 4 or 5 different guys to talk about their relationships with me.
Oh, cool.
Through the street.
So
mob bosses.
Now you hear from a third party about you.
I purposely did it.
That's
I brought
awesome.
mob bosses. I brought Ronnie Turch from Philly because his father at one time was a concierge.
That's a good move.
So I had him do something. I have other guys like Stevie Gons, who was from the neighborhood. Gotti was in jail with him, actually, in Raybrook. And he was talking to Johnny Gons before he died. And he was talking about, this is 2001, I believe. He's telling him, bragging about me in a good way. Back in 2001, and Johnny goes and has a conversation with his brother Stevie. Stevie has a conversation with me. Stevie's alive. If he didn't say it, why is Stevie going to make up a story? So, I don't bring Stevie in because he's got nothing to do with me anymore. There's no animosity, but we got nothing to do with each other. Why drag a guy in? But he's just another name of guys that this is not important to me anymore. That's the reason why I don't, or I could try to bring him in as an interview, or ask you, bring him in as an interview. See, but the point is, what am I getting out of it? What am I getting? Who cares if he said it or not, to be honest with you? I really don't care what he says. But if he was smart, he would enjoy his family, and he'd stop chasing after me and trying to, I don't know what his accomplishment in his here is, because it doesn't matter. No matter what I did, the guys that ratted, and everybody knows that. So forget about what I did. Stop diverting everything, because it's a game. You ever read the book Art of War?
Yeah.
So this is like Art of War. Let's take the narrative away from me and we'll put it somewhere else and we'll keep diverting. So everybody looks over here and doesn't look
while
over
they're
here.
doing, yeah.
And listen, they did what they did. I know Johnny Knig didn't rat. I know Johnny Knig did 50 years, and God bless him, because I do speak highly of him. But I know these other guys did rat. And there's no stopping, and there's no changing that. Unfortunately, for them, if they can't live with the fact that they cooperated, that's on them. I live pretty good on what I did. I believe what I did was justified. And if they think it wasn't, okay, that's good. Then you can believe and call me a rat. That's good for you.
And then that's it.
That's it.
Right?
I mean, what are you going to say? You're going to keep saying it every day for how many more years?
Yeah.
I said, so you're going to call me a liar for how many more years? You're going to call me a punk for how many more years? You're going to say I got raped in jail for how many more years? How many more years? How many times are you going to do the same thing? You know, that's why I said after this, I've been talking about this the last month or two. I says I stopped with this nonsense and answering to everything because it's just a waste of time.
It's a waste of time.
And it doesn't get anything. My life is my life. Their lives are their lives, whoever those individuals are. Go enjoy your life. So, you know, I got a message to kids. I say it every day. I was just on ESPN. And you know that. And you know, and my message is to those kids to, you know, every time everybody's throwing rocks at you, you got to laugh at them because they really can't have a life. I mean, they can't have a life. It's impossible to behave this way every day. You curse me out once. All right, I got it. You don't like me. I ain't losing no sleep over it. I don't even know you. I really don't want to know you. So I really don't care. So what's your objective? I'm really trying to understand what the objective is.
I think a lot of it is the social media in general. Even though it's benefited us, you know, with what you got on and me, but with all that social media, that just took everything from all avenues to a whole nother level. You know, where now anybody could say whatever they want.
But they have an obligation. You have kids.
Yeah.
We all have kids. If men are acting like little children, and do you imagine what kids are going to do with other kids?
Yeah.
Well, they do it now. I mean, the problem is what they're trying to do is, I think, you know, you have some notoriety, of course, famous. They're trying to get you to react. You react in a way, and now they say, well, look, I got him to react. They become their celebrity with themselves that you reacted to them.
Well,
almost.
Gotti said in Forbes, every time on a holiday, he cheers to me because he's free. They all laugh. I'm happy that he cheers to me. All right, you're free, so what are you hating me for then? You're done. You're free because of me. So actually, you should send me a Christmas present.
Yeah.
You should be happy that you're free because of me. Okay, if that's how he wants to twist it, because we're not in a race who ratted first, right? So, you know, I cooperated. I can't change that. If people don't agree why I did it, I got a reason why I did it. He doesn't agree, doesn't matter. But he cooperated. And he cannot change that by diverting anything for me. It's not a race. Me and him aren't Bugs Bunny and the Roadrunner.
Or Speedy Gonzalez.
Because I don't know a gangster that's going to stick up for him.
Yeah.
Not one. Not in America, not in Italy, and not in Canada. Actually, I'll say it on your show. I'll give him a first-class ticket, and I'll pay for his hotel to go to Sicily or Canada. Whatever one he wants. Because if he goes to either one of those spots, he ain't coming back. It ain't the United States.
Yeah.
So here, you know, so the problem is, you ratted. It has nothing to do with me. Yeah, I'll call myself a rat for you if you stop. I ratted. All right? Is that good? So, but I don't care. I really don't care. There's the difference. I'm Albanian. I believe in my own laws and rules. I believe in what I believe in this life. I only have my loyalty to who I believe was loyal to me. And I'm not playing that brainwashed game of when I was a kid and being loyal to anybody that wasn't loyal to me. So the day someone's trying to kill me, you're not my friend, obviously, no more. The war's on. Now, for me, the war's over now. I'm not in that life. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they do. I don't care how much money they make. I don't stay with them. I don't care how many times they call me a liar. I don't know how many times you can keep telling them the same thing, and they want a reaction. You're right. The only difference is they're trying to get the old Johnny Alite's reaction of my ego. I don't have that ego anymore. I have humility now. And I learned that through a lot of therapy and people that are helping me.
Right. And also by not sitting there, like you said, and saying, yeah, you want to call me a rat? Yes, I did. I did do this. If you weren't honest, how can you then have any weight when you go, you know, tell a kid that's in Queens growing up, hey, look, buddy, you know, you're growing up around all these people, you know, stay away from it. You know, yeah, I ratted. You know, I've been to prison. I was in prison in fucking Brazil. That is no fucking joke. I've been indicted. It affected my family, you know, my kids, so on and so forth. Stay out of it. If you're sitting here and saying, well, no, I didn't rat or I give a fuck, just the fact that you don't care, then when you go talk to a kid, you're legitimate, right? Because if you gave a fuck, then technically, if you think about it, you would still be, your mind is still in that life. So then how can you go tell a kid and try to help somebody not make that decision if you're fake on the other end, right?
Well, I was involved with domestic violence, and Angel Gotti was all over everything. Oh, he hit his ex-wife, what she calls me, A-Rat, hit his ex-wife, and I laugh. And I said to her, you better read what I said. I already said I hit my ex-wife. I never said I didn't. I said it, and I said you shouldn't. And I got involved with advocating against hitting any woman in violence. So I didn't say, I didn't do it. I said I actually did. And then she started saying, well, he has a second family. Now, this is a girl whose own father called her a rat for calling the police. And he said, you're worse than Sammy Gravano. Okay. So he did that. And her ex-husband just passed away, and condolences for him. And I don't have no hate for some, especially passed away. I don't want to see that. But he had a second family outside of her. So you're cursing me out for the same thing your family has. You're making fun of me for the same exact thing. And then you called the police, and your own father called you a rat. I really don't care who you called on your husband or not. But stop these childish games. When's it going to stop? You can't be happy to be doing this kind of stuff. So what's your end game for her, too? You didn't have to break bread and sit down and talk gangster talk with your father. So your ex-husband had a second family, and I'm sorry you're miserable about it and you're angry. Don't blame you. I'm sorry I did the same thing. But we did it. I don't say I did it and they didn't do it. And I say, no, we all did it. We all lived a shitty life. But at least I'm eating it, and I'm okay with it and honest with it. They're trying so hard not to be honest with, you can't change the words that came out of your father's mouth. He calls you a rat.
And when you're dealing with all this on a daily basis.
It's nonstop.
Yeah, and given your past.
Right.
I'm going to ask, and if you don't want to answer, how many people do you think you really whacked? I understand in a situation.
I'm going to tell you exactly.
Like you said, it's not like you got a fucking ticker and you're waiting for their heart.
I know for sure. Yeah, because I know people want to say exaggerate. For 100% sure.
Yeah.
I shot over 30 people.
Yeah.
That's 100% sure. And I can name probably most of them sitting here with you, like I do on a lot of shows, by first and last name, not just by a first name.
You remember everyone?
Oh, yeah, I remember everybody's names. So, it's not like I can't say their names. And I've done it. And if you want me to say a couple, I'll say a couple. I mean, it's not like a big deal for me when people say, oh, he only killed one, and then they say, oh, he only killed 10, and then they call me a serial killer. I don't care which one it is. Can they pick the subject? Is it, I'm not that dangerous, or I am dangerous?
Yeah.
Did I shoot a lot of people? I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I do this all the time. And I says, well, if I didn't shoot Mike Levigny in the chest, right, and say, yes, I did, why did he testify against me? If I didn't shoot Ricky Stratton in the head on the Interborough Parkway, why did I get charged with it? If I didn't shoot Georgie Grasso in the head and kill him, why did I get charged with that murder? If I wasn't involved in Louis DeBono conspiracy to kill him, why did I get charged with the conspiracy to kill Louis DeBono? If I didn't try to hit Vito Guzzo with Johnny Borelli.
You tried to hit Vito Guzzo?
Yeah, we hit him, but he lived and he killed my guy. So if I'm not, why would I say I'm involved in it, and why did guys testify and give information I was? And more important, why does captains like Ronnie One-Arm Trucchio say 14 times in his own voice, me and John Gotti Jr. are partners in the drug business if we're not? Why did he say that? Why did he also say, I got to be nice to Johnny Alite, because if I'm not, he'll kill me like everybody else. I'm just a captain in the Gambino family, but I'm not violent. He is. So he's a captain. John Gotti Jr.'s right-hand man, Mikey Scars, captain, made all kinds of statements against me in 302 that I'm around during all the jury tampering for Gotti Sr., for Jeannie Gotti, for Johnny Koenig. And if I'm not that guy, why am I living in jail with Jeannie Gotti? Why is he my cellmate?
And for those who don't know, I'm sorry if I interrupt you. Those who don't know, the feds aren't going to put somebody up on the stand that is full of shit. They make sure they know what they're talking about, and most times, except for a situation.
And we're going to end it here on this one, right? With me saying this, because people say you're defending. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to give them facts. John Gotti Jr.'s lawyer, John Mariglio, who handles Joey Molino, who knows him very well, right? Great lawyer, John. He handled other bosses, Lucchese bosses, every major trial. He's probably one of the best attorneys right now in the States. His statement to Forbes magazine was, Johnny Alite was a nut, a maniac, one of the worst, vicious guys on the street. And we had to show, and we had to get under his skin to show that he's probably one of the most dangerous guys in the street I ever encountered, and I handled everybody's cases. And we had to show how my client, John Gotti Jr., who's not violent, can't possibly control this guy. That was his lawyer who said it, not my lawyer. So why would his lawyer say that? So I'm not trying to say, I really don't care if they believe me. I don't care if it's the wrong number, the right number, because they'll say, well, you said one time 2 murders, another time 4 murders, another time dozen murders. And here's what I did say to clear that part up. So for people again, when they originally charged me, they charged me with 2. And you know how this works, because you're involved with the system. Later on, I had to discuss in those proffers how many murders I was involved with. And I said there was over 12 or 15 that I was connected to. Didn't say I wasn't a shooter on all of them. And then I copped out, I believe, to 6 murders. So those are the facts. Now, when guys are writing books like Tommy Karate's book, The Butcher, in his book, he says I killed 6 guys at the time. In the other book, Gotti's Boys, it says I'm in Johnny Kinnick's house on a videotape in the Hamptons. When I'm in Mob Killer, it says they donate a chapter just to me that I was legendary in the neighborhood as being violent. Now, is everybody lying? Is George Anastasia when he write my book? So it doesn't matter if they are or aren't to me.
Right.
Say they're all lying, and I'll make everybody happy out there. I didn't shoot all those people. I only shot 1. I'm not vicious. I'm not a killer. Are we good? I'm a liar and I'm a rat. So is that good enough for them? I'm really not sure what angle they want, because I know when they brought me back into court, because they brought me back into court, and they said I was a serial killer and that I shouldn't be on the street. So which narrative are we going to go with today?
Yeah, they're all different. But if you actually want to know what the federal government believes, there's a fucking website that has your indictment there. All the indictments.
Yeah,
and it says 6 murders, 100 shootings, and who the fuck knows out of the 100 who lived and who didn't, and a bunch of beatings with a baseball bat. Which you can get on Johnny's site for $200.
Yeah.
You got to get quicker shipping on that one.
Yeah.
I wanted to have it here, to show it off, because I just thought it was pretty cool, signed.
Yeah.
But it's like 30 days to ship the fucker.
Yeah. Well,
why?
I don't ship.
Tell the fucker to ship the
It's
thing.
hard enough when I got to sign them. I got bad handwriting. I feel,
Yeah, pull up this thing to show the bat's good. He didn't believe me.
Yeah.
I said, John's got a fucking baseball bat.
Yeah.
I was really going to buy the motherfucker. I think it's cool. I wanted to have it. It's going to be on his website. Yeah, the bat. Look at that. Click on that.
I had a guy that actually painted. He's really good painting. He painted my face on one of the bats. So it was pretty cool, really, what he did. But what's funny is I don't know how.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look there. Look at that. That's awesome. That's cool as shit. Yeah, so all you guys talking shit, go buy a bat.
Yeah.
Hit yourself with it.
Yeah, well, and then you got guys writing me, I'll hit him with a bat. And I'm like, like kids.
Yeah.
And I want to tell them, don't worry, that guy that really wants to hit me with the bat, he ain't writing like idiots. Yeah. He's just going to come hit me with the bat. So,
You know what you should do? You should offer, hey, if you want me to sign Rat, I'll sign Rat, $300. I'll give it to my kids.
Yeah,
right. Whatever
That's why he says after a while it is exhausting.
Yeah.
Because you're sick of doing the same thing all the time. Because really, it takes away from all these guys that are writing like that. Why don't they help some kids?
Yeah.
It's like one guy wrote about, you're helping kids, but you're selling bats. Actually, a percentage goes to the kids. So for that idiot that wrote that, that's one thing. But what I said to him is, how many talks do you do for kids? I said, you're not teaching any kid anything because you wouldn't be writing like a troll on my pages if you cared about kids. So that's the second comment. And third, why do you watch every one of my shows?
If you don't like them.
And you're right on every one of them all day. I mean, there's a bunch of them that do it. So really, they're only helping my algorithms and get me more money. Anyway.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'll donate them a bat because they actually made me the extra money.
I'll send you a bat. I'll put Rat. I'll put whatever you want on it. You fuck.
Yeah. They talk all nonsense.
Yeah. Well, they're just so into it because of the movies and everything else.
So they're so crazy some of the things they say, and after a while, like I said, I stopped even talking about it because it's tiring because everything I just said now. They can choose what they want. At the end of the show, they'll be writing, "A liar, fuck him, this, that, And I swear I laugh about it.
Yeah.
So
I watch a lot of your things, and so I'm trying to make this a little different because I swear to God, like the 10 of them, it's like, would you watch that guy's show and write down what the fuck you asked, and then you ask him the same? I mean, do you ever get sick and tired of just the same?
Yeah,
shit?
it's the same shit. Because
it's like, I understand it's like a business in a way. Well, it is a business, right? But it's so repetitive.
Yeah,
it's not like you can't just sit and chill. Like we're just relaxing. What comes up comes up.
Because you got to talk. You know why? You got a good personality. You talk real.
Thank you.
You just say it real. And it doesn't got to be a facade of any bullshit. Nobody cares. You know how many tough guys are out there? I want to talk. People know I talk pro veterans because a lot of my friends are war heroes, and those guys are the toughest guys around.
Fuck yeah.
So I couldn't kiss their ass as far as being a tough guy. I say it. These guys that are all writing like this, why don't you go put on a uniform and fight?
Yeah.
And if you're such a killer and a tough guy, go in the ring, get in the UFC and fight. Fight every day. I got guys that are ex-bum MMA guys that challenging me to fight. I laugh at it. I'm like, what's wrong with these guys? They that insecure? Oh, I want to fight you. If I'm nobody, what do you want to fight me for? You keep saying I'm nobody. So what are you paying so much attention to me for?
I can relate to that, right? Because I got 3 golden gloves because I boxed growing up.
Right.
Now, I'm ripped now.
Right.
But I do have 3 golden gloves, and I said it on the show a few times, and people would say, there's no way he's got golden gloves. all you got to do is look up, I said the state, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and the last one, and New York.
Right.
I got them. And I looked a lot bigger. I was 190.
Yeah,
okay?
but the toughest and strongest and the quickest fighters are guys like Hearns, Tommy Hearns. Skinny guys that are quick and fast, they'll knock you all over the ring because they know how to use their hips and their punch, the way they throw in their hands. Guys that don't know how to throw their hands, they throw like just shoulders. They have no idea. They don't know nothing about combinations or move around their footwork. But they talk like idiots. It doesn't matter. Say it ain't true. Just say it ain't. What do they care? Well, why are they attacking?
Yeah, and I'm just 5 months Mscs Media, just trying to have a good time, meet cool people, and if it makes a lot of money, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Fuck it. You know what I mean? But what do you care? You know what I mean? And you know what I used to do, John, when I was in the final fights? I would wait because I'm short.
Right.
Shorter. Right. 5'9", by the way. 5'10". And I would wait the whole time. And because they would jab, and you know how it is when you're boxing.
Yeah.
And then you wait for that. You find out where their weak point is,
right?
Because they're gonna have right here is my weak spot. So when I was boxing, I would always guard that because I knew that's where. So when I was fighting a guy, I would know if he's going like this, that's his weak spot,
right?
And he's guarding that for fucking 4 or 5 rounds, But the second he puts that down, it don't matter how little I am.
Right.
I hit that fucker. That's good because I could take a punch.
Right.
Probably why I'm half retarded.
Right.
But I mean, that's how I fought. But that's real shit. But that from fighting. But what made you like baseball bat so much? Just from playing baseball?
Yeah, just playing baseball. And, I grew up as, a little kid, 3 years old, baseball. And then when I had my property in Voorhees, I put an outdoor boxing ring in. I had a pavilion. I had all type of fighters. They were all pro fighters were at my house at that time. And then I had baseball cages. So people say,
you had batting cages?
Yeah, I had baseball cages.
Shit.
And again, like Johnny that stayed with Stevie Gons, they all knew I had the outdoor boxing rings. I had a pavilion to work out. I had a lake. I had a pool. I had basketball courts. I put roads in.
Yeah, how cool would that be to go right now?
So, when people talk like they talk, it's just, where did I live? My driveway was 7 blocks.
Yeah.
So, just to get in my property. So it was in a state.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I'm making crazy money. I'm moving drugs all over the place. And then people tell you, you didn't. So somebody wrote the other day, he said he made $10 million a day. I said, here's the problem with all of them. No one said $10 million a day, first off. I said $10 million a year, about $1 million a month. And then one of my workers.
And $10 million a year really isn't that much.
No, it isn't that much in the drug business if you're a big mover.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking about the money you guys were involved with. It's not a lot of money, and and it's a split between a lot of guys.
Yeah, on that $10 million, you're not. It's not like you're pocketing $10 million. You know what I mean?
So they talking nonsense.
It's like any other,
somebody actually, one of the guys that I shot, spoke up and said I used to work for him. He was making more than that. He's lying when he says $1 million. He says he was making more. That doesn't matter. Say I didn't make $1 million. Let's make everybody happy again. Say it was 10,000. Say I'm a junkie. What do you? I mean, what's the end? I want to know what the end up is of it.
Never. When's the end, Rob?
The only good thing is they're watching. So who cares? They're watching.
Well, they're watching. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I just laugh at it. I'm like, what's wrong with these guys?
It's just noise.
Yeah.
It's just keep doing it because, like he said, keep commenting, keep the algorithm going, keep getting the views. You're paying me while you're sitting there like an idiot.
Anybody half decent that interviewed him, that had 3-4 months. They're all 400,000 and above if they're half decent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they're, still not, they're fucking, if they're not so good, even shitheads that have been going for 5-6 years, he pulls 30, 40 fucking K.
I did BuzzFeed. I don't know if you know that. I did like 4 or 5 with the real nice guys, kids that were working BuzzFeed. And I did on one of them, I think 3.6 million on one or something like that.
Yeah.
Another one. Anyway, the kids called me up after that. They go, oh, my God, do they go out here and attack you? And I go, I know, it's crazy. And they were laughing. They go, does it bother you? And I says, and we end up joking around on the phone for 45 minutes. We were laughing our ass off.
Yeah.
And saying, actually, no. They go, and they told me, because I didn't understand the algorithm. They go, they're building up your algorithms like crazy. Because they talk about you bringing in controversy.
Yeah.
So I started joking, saying I'm the Donald Trump of the mafia.
That'll bring it. There you go.
Yeah,
that will do it, man.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean,
So now, when you go through all this, you do this with Carneglia, and then you get hit, right? You get indicted.
I get indicted.
And then you go on the run.
Well, I get indicted first in Fort Dix, and Carnegie gets pinched with an extortion case with Kevin, with Johnny's adopted son. And he's belly aching to me about Kevin. This is before the big indictment. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I says, and we argued there. And there was a couple other guys in our crew that was there, Skinny Dom, and this other guy, Johnny, was there, main guy. And, they got in between us. I says, hey, he's telling me, I got 5 years because of that rat across the street. Kevin wasn't ratting at the time.
Yeah.
Wasn't cooperating. And I said to him, it's your fault.
Were we in the low?
And we were in the low. And he says to me, I was only doing a couple months on another violation. Or I think the case, but I don't remember. Well, it was a couple months. And he was going on the west side. And I was on the west. He was going on the east. And I said, it's your fault. And then we argued about it. And he goes, how is it my fault? I go, this guy's running all over the place for you day and night, and all you're doing is getting high. I said, what guy in their right fucking mind would do anything for you? He's only doing it to you because of Johnny. I said, you're treating him like a dog. So then later on, we get indicted on the big case. And, again, I mean, this aren't a gangster. So when people talking about being, gangsters and mobsters, no, Johnny's a gangster, and unfortunately, he's a junkie. And if anybody's stupid enough to straighten him out, that's on them. So, that goes back to, when I talk about, why the mobs change, because you don't have fear and you don't have structure. So how are you going to have structure when you got this guy who's just like a crackhead on the street that you made him, and he's a loose cannon because he's doing crazy things? I says, and then you want to drag Kevin down with him because he's penniless. He screws up every dollar for Johnny when he's in jail. And this is the truth. And unfortunately, Johnny must not be too happy, obviously, where I stand today. But he knows what the truth is, at least. He knows what I'm saying. He might love his brother, but he's got to be shaking his head. If you're going to be honest, go, yeah, you're right. This is what it is. So, unfortunately, I would never think that we were all going to be in this position. We all thought we would die in jail or die in the street and stay loyal to each other. But that's a fantasy world, because that's not really the world of the treacherous mob. And the way I look at things now, I'm glad it happened this way, because I'm okay with my life. And anybody else that's writing like that, I guess they're not okay with their life.
And that's on them.
Yeah, and I think that bothers them that I'm okay with my life. So they want to try to commit as much, or try to attempt to make the most misery in my life they can, because they don't have a good life. Because anybody's got a good life. And again, I'm going to use the girl Angel because she won't stop. She should, a normal woman at 60 years old, or whatever she is, 61, so I don't know how old she is, would be with their boyfriend or husband traveling somewhere, or their girlfriend traveling somewhere, and go to the Bahamas, go here, go there. Who does this day and night? Like, actually sits there all day and calls me a rat, or an a-fib, a liar,
At 60?
Yeah, like every day, day and night.
Does she not know that her fucking clock's ticking? Maybe go enjoy life a little bit? It's
crazy.
You believe that at 60?
But this is the same woman whose father, she can't erase what he called her. He called her the rat. Said worse than Sammy.
Oh, fuck.
So, when you're the same woman making fun of me for having another family when your husband had an own family and left you. So double standard, and there's a lot more I know, like real personal shit I don't get into.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into. And I keep saying the same thing. Stop doing this, man. Where is it going to end? If you want to believe your brother didn't rat, go ahead. Believe it. But you're not convincing the rest of the mafia. But it's not a race between me and him, because they were always trying to, he went in before me. And all right, you want to believe that? I say it ain't true. You say it is true. Okay. Who cares?
Like you go this way, I go that way, right?
And the thing is, if you see me talking to all the guys that testified against me, you know that I'm being honest. I don't care anymore. He's the only one that won't stop this. It's really obsessively sick. It's really a sickness to use my name to bring up your own name now, because you got nothing else to identify yourself with. You got no identity.
That's how it is, John. That's how this real world is.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Go enjoy your family. Go on vacation. He got a ton of money. I don't. I do all right, but I don't got a ton of money like I used to have.
Yeah. The legal life isn't...
You got kids out there. Go enjoy your kids. Stay with your kids.
Yeah.
Have fun with your kids. And what is your life so surrounded only in this misery?
It's the social media. It's this, fabrication of the mafia that, in the movies and whatever. It's the media. Media, movies, social media is just what is taking us to a whole nother level, in my opinion.
100%, but we'll talk about, again, I'll bring up Johnny because we talked about Johnny.
The same thing. Well,
Johnny has a son, John Wisco, who's nowhere near this life. Really good kid, got involved in Wall Street, making a ton of money.
Good for him.
Okay, so here's a perfect example. If Johnny believed this life was so good, he would have pushed his son in this life. He didn't. He pushed him in another direction, and good for him. So there's another reason why I'm always crediting him for the way he acts, because everything he did around him, he really was a man. And for the guys who say a man's man, yeah, he was. He carried it the whole way. He actually ate that 50. I would have never did that. And I don't lie about it. So all those guys, he's dying like a man. And listen, you wouldn't do one day. You're talking about John Gotti Sr. died like a dog in jail. I says, you talk like that too if you guys were there. It's easy for that poor guy to lose his life, and they're like that. So who's these dummies bullshitting, and they're watching TV and they're playing that video game like they're gangsters.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
They don't know the life.
Did you like Senior? Did you like John?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
you did?
I did.
You had fun with him?
Listen, he was a gangster. He was a fun guy. He's intimidating. Listen, anybody, and I'm going to tell you something. And I said this last time. The only guy I never seen him intimidate, really, was Johnny Kinnick. Angelo Ruggiero would fight with him a little bit more, but even him, he bullied around. And Angelo was a tough guy. But the only one I never seen him get away with really bullying, because Johnny knew how to play him a little bit. And he needed Johnny in a lot of ways. So he didn't get away with it with Johnny. So I was shocked that Johnny did that 50. But any other guy that was around, he bullied all of them. But as a fun guy, yeah, he was a fun guy. And he was cranky sometimes, but you got to remember, who wouldn't be? He had the whole world on his back. For jail, for money, for what he did by killing Paul Castellano and having that hit done. So, all that. And, people say, well, yeah, I heard you say something bad. Come on, man. We all say shit that is bad sometimes. But overall, everybody knows I love the guy. The guy was we all looked up to him. As kids, that's who we wanted to be.
Do you think he ruined the mafia?
I mean, listen, he had a lot of bad ways, being out there and this.
Public
did he ruin the mafia? He didn't ruin it. I mean, he helped it along. I mean, it's the best way to be honest. He was just too out there.
But that was right when Giuliani came in and he started enforcing the RICO, right?
The RICO killed the mob.
That's what killed the mob.
And then you had all the bosses cooperating across the country.
Right.
That nobody seems to want to talk about, because every boss from, I talk about Whitey Bulger, Frank Salemi in Boston, I don't know if you know what it is, he cooperated. So you got these guys, whether Junior likes him or not, the whole world knows he cooperated. So you got the Al Diaco cooperated, Lucchese family, Gas Pipe, and, you had too many guys. They were all Ralph Natale and Philly and Leonetti. So every mob boss, so why are they bullshitting about there's a stand-up mafia when we know it's not? They're not even killing anymore because they can't. Because the guys taking the orders don't trust the bosses because somebody gave it up. And the guys that are the bosses are scared to give an order because they know it's the same thing. They're going to get pinched with the murder. So that's being realistic so young kids understand. Please don't follow this life because of these things I'm telling you. It's over. This ain't 70s, 60s, 80s, or even the 90s. It's a different era. So
You're gonna get caught.
you're going to get caught. And if Gotti, again, wanted to be a gangster so bad, and he's trying to say he didn't rat, then I'm going to make this very simple. When the guys were beating up his sister, he should have killed him. When his dad got beat up in jail, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, the father was an old guy. The guy was a young guy. The guy came back to Philly. If you don't know, Johnson lives in Philly. Should have killed him. And I'm not advocating killing Sammy Gravano, no way, and I keep saying this. But if you believe Sammy put your father in there, made him die in there and choke to death, you should have killed him. So you didn't do any of these things. So you're not a gangster. Because if you're a gangster, you would have killed him. And you would have took care of all your business. So stop pushing this agenda. Because since you didn't want to do it, why are you trying to talk some other kid into doing it? So, stop it. And maybe this is why they hate me, because I talk honest. But when someone touched my sister, I shot the shit out of him. And when someone robbed my other sister, I batted him, and he testified for Gotti. And I almost killed him. So at least I did what I said. But I'm against the life. And I'm very vocal. I'm against life because I don't want to see kids ruin their lives like we did. And he ruined his life. So it's okay to say I ruined my life. And it's okay to say my father fucking suffered in jail. And it's okay to say my father cried inside jail because he was frustrated. That's not a weakness.
Yeah. They put him in a supermax.
Oh, my God. Listen, he died suffering. So when these idiots are typing away, he died like a man's man. Yeah, he wouldn't last 5 minutes in these solitary confinements till the father had to be
They didn't give him any medical care. That's probably,
I mean, and this is the point, though. So who's pushing the agenda to be like this?
Yeah. Right.
I would never want my kids like this. Because, I get mad if my kids fight. I get so mad at other guys for teaching their kids to talk like them or act like them and bullshit them. I know how many May guys now, they never even had handcuffs on them. They never even got locked up. So what are you pushing? You never even got locked up. You never used the gun. You didn't kill nobody. You didn't do anything. What are you teaching kids to do this for?
Now, in your day, to get made, did you had to kill to get made?
Yeah, for the most part. When guys say you didn't have to do it, you got to be part of the team. Maybe
you're in on the hit.
You're in on the hit somewhat. I mean, you could be home sleeping, but you're in on the hit. So, there's some of the stuff that I was involved in, hits that I really hardly had anything to do with, and I got charged with it. It's a conspiracy to commit murder on some of them. It's just part of the way it works.
Right.
Other ones, you're right on the scene, so, it just depends. But, listen, it's a different world.
Yeah.
And the mob world is with all the technology. You ain't getting away with anything. So I say it on my show all the time. Crime don't pay unless you pay with your life. And if you want to hurt somebody, you might as well shoot yourself after you hurt them because you're not getting away with it.
What happened to just putting your hands up, right?
Nah, they ain't going to do that either.
I know.
I got guys now that want to fight me at 25 years old,
yeah,
30 years old, 35 years old.
Nah, you got a family,
Come on, they're waiting until I'm walking. Listen, I had 6 operations. No,
yeah.
I got to watch. They'll call me a liar. I had 4 operations.
What did you just get done when you came in? You said
heart. I had a heart operation. I had the thyroid cancer. I had the hip operation and back.
Wish the best for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm all right.
Good.
I'm fighting through it. And I got to go back in for a couple of these. But
yeah, my mom went through. I lost my mom about 3 months ago.
Yeah,
that's a
sorry to hear
motherfucker.
that.
That state bullshit.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stings. That's a stinger. Yeah.
Life's short. That's part of the reason we talk about enjoying it. And I hope that, the kids listen to me. I hope that they ignore these guys that do what they do to me. So.
And that's so like when I bring up, which I'm going through right now. So, you get hit, you go on the run because of the indictment and you go to Brazil. You're there 10 months, right?
No.
I mean, you're in Brazil for 10 months before.
Oh, on the street. Yeah.
On the street.
Yeah.
How was it in Brazil?
Oh, I loved it.
Did it? I loved it.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, I traveled a lot of countries. I was in Cuba. I was in Colombia. I was in Venezuela, Paris.
What was your favorite?
Spain was pretty good because my partner, Klaus, that was in jail with me in Brazil, his family was there. So I had some help. So I had a good time in Spain, and they were helping me move around, helping me get passports, helping me do some things. So that was a good country. Venezuela, believe it or not, I mean, obviously, in Cuba, both, but so much poverty. Yeah. But, you got beaches and girls.
If you go to the right spot, I heard Venezuela has some
Santa Margarita,
amazing looking women.
That's the beach. Yeah. Colombia, Cartagena, Santa Marta, so it was in those places.
And again, like you said, like these kids watching this, you ended up in a Brazilian jail. And I had a driver who was from Brazil. like born, raised, came over here, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And when the Brazil president was running and they tried to whack him out, and he had a commercial. He was trying to act like Trump because Trump was big. And he was showing me in the commercial, to be president in Brazil, he was at a desk like this. I wish I could find the video. But, you know, he's got the Brazilian stations because he can't talk a lick of English, which was great as a driver.
I speak pretty good Portuguese.
Do you?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't understand a fucking word, which is good because I don't want to be talked to. I just want to be driven. I'm stressed out. Just don't ask me how my day is. But he showed me this shit, Rob, and the president that's running, right? He's at a desk like this, a bottle of fucking tequila or whatever, two broads in G-string bikinis, like shaking, like doing what's the thing that they do now? Twerking. They're twerking while this guy's running for president. They almost whacked him out. And then we started talking. I said, well, how is it over there? He goes, yo, you never want to go to jail over there.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible. So tell me how it is. How bad is it? Because he told me it's like hell. Absolute
it is
hell.
It is hell. And if, people, oh, he's lying and they're the same nonsense, but what he told you, Brazilians will tell you. And, the music actually in Brazil, like crazy music, they dance to funky and samba, but funky's like wild.
I used to say, the guy's name was Max. Turn that shit off.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. And anyway, him and I don't see eye to eye.
But yeah, it's hell in there. It's not like the United States. Listen, we tried so many schemes, and I'm flying to Spain because they're doing a TV series on it. Actors are playing us. We did, I don't know, I talk about Hogan's Heroes, how it's fun, but then it was crazy if you watch the comedy. We did so many schemes that we were in there. We were on telephones trying to get to a mental hospital, make it like we're crazy. Guys were making like we got raped, so we talked about that. We talk about everything on phones because we know they will listen. We're trying to get sent out because if you go to the hospitals, there's only one, sometimes two guards max. So we were trying to get ourselves there. So we had a million schemes. I mean, it was part of the jail, but it's insane. Guys are getting killed left and right. Guys will say, oh, I didn't stab guys. There's a lot of guys that were in jails with me there. We're all still in touch. We're doing a film about Klaus's life story, actually. So all the guys are in touch. They know what happened because we're all friends.
Yeah, he said you're basically sleeping on cement.
You are sleeping on cement.
You get fed as minimum as possible if you're lucky enough to get fed.
Rice and beans in big bowls.
Same thing
with
every
bugs
day.
all over it. It rains inside.
Yeah.
You shit on the floor.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said because
there's no lights really. You got one little thing, and it goes out half the time when you're in there.
My guy said they had the lights are like the screw-in ones.
Yes.
Like that, and that you're on the floor, and there will be feces on the ground, and nobody comes and cleans it up.
No, there's rats all over the place.
And he did 2 fucking years.
2 years, 8 months. 2 years, because they drive me crazy. 2 years and 7 months and a couple of days.
Roughly 2 years. Yeah.
Almost 3.
My estimation.
If I say almost 3, they call me a liar. I gotta watch.
Somewhere around 2 to 3 fucking years. Okay.
Yeah.
I would think you'd be able to pay them off and get the hell out of there.
We tried, and I sent $800,000 there, and the guy got friendly with Gotti, and he sent my paperwork into the government to try to give me a death sentence, and which I couldn't get. It was off the table because I was out of the country. Well, Brazil doesn't send you back, but he took my $800,000. So then people call me a liar that I didn't send the $800,000. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So I had wire transfers. So he's my friend Michael. He's the one that sent the wire transfers out on the internet everywhere.
Yeah.
We've been friends since we're kids. So, he sent it out. So, this is the usual of everybody constantly talking when they don't know what they're talking about. But, again, who cares what they believe or don't believe? It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, my purpose of bringing it up is that what can happen and how terrible that is in fucking Brazil.
Oh, listen, they were killing like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, riots, and then
Bangu
2 was Bangu 2 was another jail I went to, and that's even worse. When I went in, there was a flood, so the water was, I guess, a little about knee high. Let's go a little lower, so if I'm not a liar. Right. And they have these mosquitoes they call dengue. Right, you die from dengue. It's a poison, and there's swarms of them. So you can't even listen, you scratch knots crazy. Mosquitoes. That's probably the worst thing that goes on in those jails is that.
Now, did you know anybody there that made it a little bit of an easier run?
From the street, when I get in, there's a guy, Commander Mavamela was one of the bigger groups, like FARC group or whatever you want to call them. And they run a lot of the cities. That's the most dangerous group. So when I went to Bongo 2, I went to where the commander Vimela was because I knew a couple of guys. So yeah, I had hooks from the street inside, and which helped.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, that helped. I mean, but it ain't everything.
It's still a nightmare.
No, it was a nightmare. We went in there,
Yeah.
and you're battling the diseases. You're battling the guards. You're battling the military police, the corrupt wardens that killed another warden, and then you got the inmates against inmates, and then you got our own group of guys that survived off each other. So. And
then again, you're technically, you're not from Brazil.
No.
So that couldn't have helped the situation very much.
No, but we, there's a lot of us from the UK that stay in touch. There's a couple of guys from Turkey, 2 from Italy, Klaus from Denmark, and we're all still real tight. We're all meeting, actually. We're going to Spain next month to film. And so we all stay in touch with each other. We had a reunion in the UK last year, right before this crap with the pandemic. So.
I don't know how you did 2 years in there.
Yeah. 2 years and 8 months.
I'm sorry, 2.
Tell him.
Roughly 2 years. Roughly 2 years.
Almost 3 years.
No, I thought that's Rob.
Yeah.
Not me and him. Go fuck Rob 7 ways to Sunday.
I'm gonna get some comments from me now. Leave some comments.
I don't read them anyway, so you can comment all the fuck you want.
I don't really read them.
Now, I thought that Brazil did extradite. I thought they weren't, because didn't you get extradited by the feds then?
They actually came and took me out.
Like, just came in and took you?
Took me, yeah. And they came with they flew in with a Gulfstream 5. I heard it was the FBI director's plane.
Oh, that must be not.
They came in with 14 military
What do you think
police.
he's making a year?
Yeah, I know. I heard the gas, and I don't know about this. I heard the gas alone to come there. I don't know if it's come there and back. It's $250,000. I guess somebody knows about planes would know. And they came with 14 military police, and then I don't know how many agents. And they got me on Christmas Eve and brought me back. I mean, the only good thing is that plane was on something else. So, when you're on, and I was like, well, you got to be extradited
coming
back.
out of Brazilian prison, right?
But they came and just basically kidnapped me out. I was still trying to fight to stay. I wasn't trying to leave because I had no intentions of cooperating. So I was fighting, and it was costing me, obviously a couple million. And my local lawyer in Miami, I gave him $450. I had a civil lawyer, $350. I gave my investigators in the United States and Brazil, I think about $100, $150 each. And then I had a Brazilian lawyer. I gave him about $250, $300. And then I had secondary lawyers that got money. Then I had to hire lawyers for my son's mother, for my mother and father, and for my sister. So I had lawyers for everybody. You know how it works. Everybody's getting. So whether they grab you or bring you in or not, doesn't matter. You had to get lawyers for them because, there's too much going on. There's money being moved around in people's names, and I'm getting threatened.
And that's just off the top of your head.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
The bills go all that high. Exactly.
Fuck,
you need to get paper printed.
5-minute call. That's an hour.
Yeah,
you're fucking about it.
You want copies of everything. It's costing you a couple thousand.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to copy it? You just gave me $400, but I have to use my paper.
I flew my 2 lawyers from Miami down to Brazil. He stayed an hour. He said, "I'm not staying." He was too scared to stay in the cell, and, to visit, not in the cell, in the jail.
Yeah.
And I thought he was coming back because it cost me $20,000 to bring him, and then whatever it cost for all their staying, and it was another couple of thousand. So the next day, I'm waiting for him to come back. I call up and I go, "Where is he?" They go, "He left." I go, "What?" I went crazy. I go, "We didn't even talk." He gave me my indictment. Yeah, I swear he just left.
Here you go. Your indictment. Merry Christmas. I'm out. Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame him now when you think back because it was, everybody's getting killed in there.
Yeah, but at the time you're like, what the fuck, right?
He said, "I'll never come there." My Brazilian lawyer who lives there said, "I hate coming here. I don't like coming here." And I'm like, "Why?" And he goes, "Are you kidding me?" He says, "I'm not going to get kidnapped because I'm coming to see you." I go, "No, you're going to come see me for the money I'm giving you. I don't give you, you got to bring bodyguards with you. You're coming." Because he didn't want to come either. So.
But I am surprised that Brazil just let them walk in and grab you. I thought they put up a fight, but.
Supposedly, I think we lent them the United States in 1998. You could fact check, because I know everybody fact checks everything I say. Whatever. I think it was $40 billion, I think we gave Brazil in 1998. So a couple of years later, I'm there.
Oh, okay.
So
that was like a favor?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm just part of the bullshit of whatever.
Yeah, you just happen to have the luck to get the one who's paying back part of the $40 million, right?
I mean, listen, it's crazy. But see, Buscetta was there, who was cooperating from Italy for a couple of years prior to me. So, matter of fact, Gotti's doing a project, right? And I'm like, seems to be the center of his project. Now, I'm a nobody, supposedly. So what's all the energy on me? Why don't you do it on Pesetta? Why don't you do it on Joe Messina? Why don't you do it on Nicky Scott? Well, Nicky didn't cooperate. Leonetti, who cooperated, because that's what he's doing on guys. Do it on all these big-time bosses. Well, I'm a nobody junkie. So what is it on me for? It doesn't make any sense, right?
According to what they say.
Yeah, why waste your time on me?
Yeah.
I'm nothing. So, that's why I'm curious why all these guys troll on me. If I'm nobody and nothing, don't waste your time. Get to the big dogs. I'm not nothing. I'm just a low-life junkie that never did anything. So, that's why I say the narrative can't be every which way.
What do you think of Leonetti?
I didn't know him, like that. No, but, listen, I hear a lot of guys hate on him now. I mean, I know he's well-spoken and he's kind of humble. So I don't know anything really about him past that he was Nicky's nephew and what he said. I heard him a couple of minutes on Value Entertainment.
Yeah.
And
you got almost 7 million views on that one.
Yeah, I got a lot of views on it.
7 million, man.
Yeah. Because I kept saying, yes, I did. Everybody started, following that yes, I did thing. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll start saying, no, I didn't. Maybe they'll leave me alone.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
So now you get extradited back.
Yeah.
As part of you paid back part of the 40 million. The government knows you, John.
Yeah.
So you come back and now you go in, you get charged, right?
Yeah. I went to originally, I think, Falkenberg. It was Christmas Eve. It was snow, and Falkenberg's a lockdown.
What the fuck's that?
That's they're not equipped like here in Philly and with MCC and MDC. Yeah. So it's like they're bubbled glass cells, and there was 6 of us on that tier that the guards can watch us through a glass. It's not a regular cell. So you're on that 24-hour surveillance, and obviously I was all over the media about my case, and so I was a big name coming back, and everybody's the way they are. You're coming back, and I'm not cooperating, so everybody's you're the greatest guy.
And what were the actual charges on that one?
It was the murders. Everything was kind of open-ended. It was very vague indictment because there was so many cooperators against me. So there was no names, and it was, it just said murder, didn't say how many, drug dealing.
Yeah, that's why I asked you, because I read the indictment and I couldn't figure it out. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to ask him what happened, because I can't, I don't know.
There were dozens. Listen, at my grand jury, they told me 56 people took the stand against me at my grand jury to indict me. So, plus, how many others? Who knows?
Jesus Christ, 56 people.
And so when people say, oh, A-Rat and A-Rat never got caught. They were all ratting on me.
Yeah.
That's how I got caught. I don't have any evidence against me. So, every time I say this, people don't want to hear me say that, but that's the facts. If anybody goes and looks at the case and say, how'd they catch the guy? Just everybody ratting on me. So it wasn't that I got caught selling a key to somebody or 10 keys to somebody or at a killing or at a shooting or at an armed robbery, nothing. No video, audio tapes. So, the story, the history of this is everybody gave me up. And that's cool. I get it. And I don't care no more. At the time, I was upset. I was mad like anybody else would be. But then, you know what? I'm not like Gotti. When he's cheering me, he doesn't really mean it because he wouldn't have all this hatred still. He would really be happy and send me a Christmas present and say, oh, this guy, because of him, he's a shitty witness. And
because you testified against Junior and they found you uncredible. Right.
Well, he said they were uncredible. His lawyer said they believed me, but just thought I was too violent for him. His lawyer said it.
See, you can't read the shit online.
Yeah,
because, when you try to do the research to figure out who the fuck somebody is, that's why I'm asking you. You know what I mean?
The jury, if you look at the conviction rate, it was kind of even.
Yeah.
Some of them was against them 8-4, 10-2, and then I think it was 6-6 or some shit like that, 5-5 or 2-0, whatever it was. But it was even. And they put that, what they always, they put the narrative they want. But if you look at what his lawyer said, he says no one said that. They just said he was way too dangerous for him to control me, so they couldn't believe that anything he said, or they couldn't believe that I could be controlled by him.
Excuse me. So the top 10 pages that come up all say pretty much, John Alite testified against Junior, but the 12 jurors found that he was uncredible, discreditable because of his past, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say it was 8-4 or,
Cosa Nostra News wrote and put the jury pool in. and said it's not true.
Yeah.
And so did Gangland and said it wasn't true. And the rest of these papers all wrote that he was already cooperating before, years earlier. Again, listen, not said. He was the headlines of the Daily News and New York Post, that he was a rat. That's what it said. Singing career in one, and the other one had a rat of a face of him and is a rat. These are headlines 2005 while I'm in a pen in Brazil. So now, it doesn't matter that he was ratting first. So let's say he wasn't. He ratted, but he wants to be in competition with me, that I ratted before him. So we'll appease him and say, okay, I ratted before him. Okay, you still ratted. That's why you were in the head of the Daily News and the New York Post, and Gangland is a rat, and your 302s are out there.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to do with me. Why do you keep trying to compare yourself with me for? I'm okay with what I did. So, here's how I'll make him happy. I ratted and he ratted. We're both rats. I mean, is that good for him? I mean,
Right, and you got the 5K1, the 35B. What's the 302? I forget.
302 is when you're debriefing and proffering with the government.
Oh, 302 is the
proffer.
And then the 35B is when you have evidence after your conviction that you send in. And then the 5K1, off the rip, you're
Well, you got to remember, Jeff Lichtman was his attorney. His attorney, Jeff Lichtman, is known to bring in guys to cooperate first. That's what brought him in the proffer first. Second, it's not 30 minutes, like he said. Well, I only sat down for 30 minutes. It's my mistake, blah, blah, blah. To get, and you know this also because you're involved in the criminal system, to get a meeting with the government that he asked for, you need about 45 days, maybe even 60. So you got to get your lawyer, the prosecutors, the FBI, the marshals, and Washington, D.C. to coordinate the meeting between all those groups, and then they got to sneak you in the building that nobody sees you coming in, because everybody's going to know you're proffering. So they got to bring you around the back. They bring you in the basement. This is not like you're just walking through the front door to have a fucking lunch. So all these narratives are so fake. But again, you want to believe that you're not a rat, though, whatever. But what does it got to do with me? So I don't understand the comparison between me and him.
Well, envy, jealousy. Look at you. You're doing shit, right? You're writing books. You keep pushing. Now you're doing a podcast. Now you're talking to kids. Now you're going and doing a whole nother series. You're the face of that Fear City show, which isn't too. It's pretty good actually.
Yeah.
You're the face of a lot of shit, John, right now. So.
But we have different lives. So do your life, do you, I'll do me. And when you cheer me, then I'll say, okay, you're welcome, because you said thanks to me, you're free. All right, welcome. So what are you mad at?
John, that's a fantasy world. That's
yeah.
But you're getting 400,000 hits. So now when you go on somebody's show, you say, look, I want this and I want residuals, motherfucker. Get the residuals.
Yeah. I'm pushing for the residuals.
Yeah. Well, look, you're on TV right now.
Well, one truth is there's so many YouTubes against me. They are making me more popular.
Yeah, it's helping.
Yeah, it is helping.
Yeah.
That's one thing. So if you have, thick skin, and it doesn't bother you, which it doesn't bother me. Everybody knows that. It doesn't bother me at all.
I just think you're a man.
Yeah.
And there's not many left.
Yeah. So
especially this day and age. So you do that, and then how much time? Now you testified against Carnegie as well. I know we're back for Charles.
Charles.
Yeah. And then you did a little bit of time. You got out.
I did on this whole case in Brazil, and I did a little over 10 years total.
Yeah. And I bet.
And before that, I did. I went through the timelines I did before. I did time in 91. I said 90 the other day, but it's actually 91. I got out, then I did time again in 92. I got out, court cases in 94 and 95. Went in 96, got out at the end of 99. Caught another case, went back in 2000 and got out, was on house arrest 2001, got out, went on 2002 for violation. Got out, went on a run in 2003, got caught in 2004, stayed in jail till about 2013.
And then that was it.
And then 5 years parole, and I got violated one time in that parole because they were writing against me.
Right, and then one of the violations was a gun, right? You had a gun?
No, that was earlier. It was another violation.
That was another violation,
yeah.
See, they got it all over the place. Try to figure you out. So you can't...
I did a lot of time, so when they say I didn't do a lot of time, that's,
But you know what, though, when you read it, did you ever read about yourself?
No, I really don't read. Everybody thinks that, they ask me, did you watch this? Do you read the...
I wouldn't read it either if I were you. But when you read it, it looks like you went in 2011, got out in 2012, violated, blah, blah. Rob, while he and I are talking, go to put John Alite in and then go to the Wikipedia page. And you read that, among others. This is just the one, and it looks like you did like you got hit with the 10-piece. You did 6 months and got out.
Know.
And I'm like, I don't care who we ratted on.
Well, how about this?
I mean,
they said I was an informant in there somewhere.
Here,
I was never an
look,
informant.
John, look. So, Rob, read this so John can hear this.
John Edward Alite, also known as Johnny Alito? I'm not trying to Aleto is an American former Gambino crime family associate who later became a government witness, agreeing to testify against the crime family and John Junior Gotti in 2008. That year, Alite pleaded guilty to racketeering charges, including 2 murders and a variety of other crimes, and in 2011 was sentenced to a total of 10 years in prison. Due to his cooperation, prosecutors released on a 5-year supervised release in 2012.
See, now, right there, stop right there. See, now that makes it look like you went in 2011, got 10 years, and then boom, you're out in 2012.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Alite has estimated that he shot between 30 to 40 people, beat about 100 people with a baseball bat, and killed 6 people.
$200 for the baseball bat, for sale now.
Hey, so on JohnAlite.com. Later in life, Alite publicly denounced the life of organized crime and became a motivational speaker and writer.
And that's just, part of it. But you see how you read just that little bit?
Yeah.
And it makes it look like, okay, you went in 11, you talked, boom, you got out in 12, which, I mean, fuck, it would take you from 11 to 12 to get anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think after reading that, I'd rather be shot than hit with the baseball bat. I'm just saying, I'd rather be hit with the baseball bat. I don't know.
It would depend on what type of bullet. If it's a hollow point, I'll take the baseball.
If he played baseball, I bet he's got a good swing, so I don't know.
Fuck
Yeah, I used to have a good swing. Yeah.
If you got a fucking scholarship,
Well, correct.
I mean, yeah, no, you don't want to get hit with a baseball bat by John Alite, right? Yeah. You're over that though. That's done.
No, I swear I don't really have much of a temper. People say, "Oh, you wrote this." Come on, nobody's perfect. You do say once in a while you might say something stupid or write something stupid, but I don't react anymore. And and I'm just looking to enjoy my life. So like when I look at some of this stuff.
Yeah, go to the multicam. Go to 6 because look at this guy's line in that chest. No, to the screen. Yep. Look at that chest, man. You got that line, and you said that's push-ups.
Push-ups all day. When they caught me there, I used to go to a gym, Arturo Mariano's gym. He was a Muay Thai champ, 4-time champ, and I used to live in his gym we were there day and night.
My ex-wife thought you were hot as hell.
Yeah.
We were watching something about something, and she goes, because I had spiky hair too when I was a little bit bigger. She goes, he's hot. Well, you're hotter, Tommy. He's hot. And I remember I put that there because I'm talking 10 years ago. I said, what the fuck is he doing to get that line? You know what I mean? You said
I'm skinny there. I'm only 165 pounds. I used to run every day about 7 miles a day on the beach because I used to run on the beach.
Sand's a bitch.
And then do a lot of pull-ups on the beach. Yeah, it was a bitch. And then I'd be in the gym all day, and they would teach me a little bit. People say, oh, he's a jiu-jitsu fighter. I suck. They taught me for a year. So I know a little technique, and that's about it. People say, oh, no, I heard he was a good, he's really good jiu-jitsu fighter.
But you got that line from push-ups?
Push-ups and pull-ups.
You were worth it just to get that answer.
10
years ago, I'm looking at, and I got a little bit of a line. You got the biceps too. What were you doing for biceps?
I was kind of weak with biceps actually,
but you got the ball.
Because I used to do a lot of dips, and I do the close push-ups, and then I do the pull-ups this way. I do the pull-ups this way.
Reverse pull-ups.
Yeah.
Look at him, Rob.
Yeah,
beast.
That's the picture you should
You must have got a lot of pussy, boy.
Yeah.
Michael Dowd. You and Michael Dowd together?
Oh, Mike would go out.
Send that picture to all your haters when they're commenting.
Yeah.
Send this to your wife.
Yeah, see, look, hey, all you guys talking shit, look how I look in an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
I bet you a lot better than your man. No homo.
Yeah. We used to they used to talk about our parties. We had some good sex parties.
Oh, I bet you did. So then you go through all that. You're done with the bullshit in 13. Everybody knows what you did. It's the same shit over and over again. And then what makes you decide, okay, I'm going to write a book about this? Like, when did the book idea pop?
I thought about it a couple times, and I didn't like, especially with my kids, that the narrative was that I just, we'll use it very simple. Like I robbed a bank, got caught, and I started telling on people. So if you're a rat, like they're trying to say, oh, I was a cooperative. If you're a cooperative, there's no reason to run. There's no reason to stay in a Brazilian jail and spend millions of dollars. There's no reason to fight staying there. If you're cooperated, you just come back. So, when that narrative's being played out, I'm like, hey, so anyway, I wanted the truth to go out about what happened in my life.
Because so much shit was being
it was
talked and said.
it was said. And at that time, I wasn't, thinking the way I think today. Like, now I think, like, who gives a shit? Back then, it was a work in progress. You used to just always fighting back. So.
So the first book you wrote, how long, so like the jail, and then when did you get off probation?
2018.
18. Okay, what year was the first book that you written?
With George Anastasia from Philly.
Okay, he's good.
But George, how
Annoying,
and George knew me because of I was locked up here a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because I had the house in Voorhees for years, so I knew all the Philly guys. I would hang out with Johnny Guns. I'd hang out with Ronnie Turch. I went out with Joey a couple of times with Ronnie Turch. I went out with Roger Vella back then. I'm trying to think, Nicky Whip. There was a lot of guys I knew down here.
Yeah.
So, I'd be out and I'd, hang out with Marty's brother, Michael, and different guys. So I was always here. I was always in New York. I was always in Florida. I had different crews of guys because I lived in
That's right.
different houses.
You had a crew in Tampa.
Yeah.
How many were in your crew?
Well, I had a lot of guys. Because of the drug business, so I was, I had guys all over the place. So I said between all of us, people say, how many in your crew? I guess close guys, 20, 25 guys. And then they had guys, so there's probably 300 of us, all
together.
Yeah, because you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Like one guy has 6 friends themselves, and they got friends, and so I didn't really see too many of them. Well, if I see them when we went out, hey, how you doing? And once in a while, you'd have 30 guys with you. It wasn't, always, but we had a lot of guys.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, like when we say crew, like how many people work under you? Like if you're working at the gas station, how many people you own the gas station? How many people go to work?
Yeah, especially when you're in the drug business, you got a lot of guys. Yeah. And I went to jail when I did a lot of time in Fairton with Philly guys.
Yeah.
And then I went to McKean, and then I went to Allen. There was a lot of Philly guys with me, and then I went to the halfway house on Broad Street. I was in the halfway with Roger Vella and Turch before he gets
downtown.
killed.
Yeah.
I was downtown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I had the house in Voorhees.
Yeah.
So I didn't do a halfway house in New York. I did it here.
Yeah, you did it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I say
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. You up north. Yeah. So you write the first book, and that was to set the record straight.
Set the record straight, and George, obviously what I was saying was, prior to me ever meeting him, he did stories on me about my involvement down here in Philly and some of the things I was accused of down here. And so he knew me, and they did a special on me on that show he does on Fox.
Yeah.
Back then, so...
He has his little 30-minute segment or minute segment once a week.
Yeah. So he did it years ago on me, and then, when we talked and we met, and then he wanted to do the book. And so, then he obviously got attacked because he did the book with me. And, again, listen, it's nonsense. At some point, it's got to stop. This is like almost 10 years later.
Yeah.
How long are you going to keep doing this?
Yeah.
It's just really crazy. It's obsessive, like to a different level. When people changing paperwork and changing different things, it's crazy.
You got Photoshop now.
They do everything. They did it all.
Yeah.
It's all been done.
Pull up John's website so we can see all the books. You have 4 total books, right? You have Gotti's Rules, Darkest Hour, Prison Rules, and then your newest one,
Mafia International.
Mafia International.
This one, yeah.
Okay, so that's your new one, and you said this one here is about, like a third party.
Well, there's about 4. It'll talk about terrorism, the terrorists that were in jail with me that I went after. It'll talk about Klaus in Denmark, one of the biggest European drug dealers, that they're doing a show based on his life, and I'm co-involved in it. Then there's Anthony Ruggiano, whose father was Fat Andy Ruggiano, who was the boss. He talks about his father, himself, and myself in relationship. Then it was Turchy, who talks about his father and my relationship with his dad and my relationship with him. And then there's a black guy that's a good friend of mine, TT, from Brooklyn, East New York, that was in the drug business, and a good friend of mine forever, still is a good friend of mine, his perspective. And there's a couple other guys I forget offhand. So it's a couple of them, and then I get into stories about Joey Scopo, one of the acting bosses of the Colombo family. He gets killed. I talk about that, and some jail stuff. And
so this one isn't just so much just John Alite.
No.
This is like other things that happen.
Right, and not too much Gotti at all in this.
Yeah.
It's, it might mention something in there. It mentions the story where Jeannie Gotti was in prison with me. his uncle, and so we cellmated at one time, and that didn't go well. And so
Yeah.
you're not going to get along with guys that have egos. It just ain't going to happen. And it's just a different world. Like I said, whether we like it or not, history's the history, and it's eventually, after 10 years of this, when's it going to stop? So I said a lot today, right? I things I never said before. I actually, just to alleviate everything, okay, I'm a rat, still doesn't change his position. So I don't have a problem. I don't use the word rat for myself. I believe I defended myself against guys that were cooperating against me. And I think I'd be an asshole not to. So that's really the fact of how I believe it. But anybody can take it any way they want. I really don't care.
Everybody's got their own opinion.
Yeah, they can have it. I really don't care. I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Go back up to all his books. So Prison Rules. Okay.
Now, Prison Rules, Nick Christopher wrote this, and those are the headlines of Gotti while I'm in the Brazil penitentiary. So
Right there
how you
go.
spinning this is,
Yeah.
I didn't write those articles. Gangland did, and all the New York papers. I didn't meet the government. You did. So why are you spinning it? And it's okay that you did. So what? But you're trying to put it on me. But let's make them happy and say, okay, I was ratting before you. You're right. I was an informant, whatever word you want to say. All right? So let's put me on the side. We established, Johnny, it's a rat. You're right. It doesn't change the fact that you're a rat. So I don't know what your point is. That I beat you there? I mean, all right, I'm the winner.
Wow. Okay, I won.
Yeah.
I thought that's what.
So I don't get it. That's what I'm trying to understand. As far as the mob's concerned, right? Whether we like it or not, they don't want nothing to do with me, and they don't want nothing to do with him. The difference is I'm good with it. He's not. So I'm good with that. I don't care what they want. I don't need any of those guys to be my friends. Is there guys that talk to me in that life? 100%. I'm not going to lie either. And, they agree with it, or whatever, don't agree, they do it on the sneak, so what? But I don't do business with him. I got nothing to do with the street anymore. I don't know what his hang-up is, because he's not sure if he wants to be a gangster still or whatever, but he can't be. He's known as a rat. If he can get just one person to stick up for him, let's ask Johnny Koenig, or let's ask his uncle Genie Gotti. Is he a rat? Yes or no? And if they say he ain't, then I'll never talk about it again. But I don't know what he's trying to prove, because me and him aren't in competition. Whatever he did has nothing to do with me. And whatever I did has nothing to do with him. But since he says he cheers me on Christmas, then stop being mean and send me a Christmas present.
Yeah. And
you should thank me.
And send me one too, because you said it on my show.
And he's got a lot more money than me still. So be happy with that. You're free.
You're free, right? Fuck it. Let it go. And what's the next one? Gotti's Rules. So now talk about this. This is with George, right?
This is George. It just basically talks about all the violence when we were involved.
New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
And then there's some of the places that you were on. How'd you like Vlad with the iPad? Doesn't he have an iPad? Actually, I want to meet. You know what? He's doing great. Good for him. Good for him.
I mean, yeah. He listen. Whether we like him or not, he's
killing
successful.
It.
Yes.
He's fucking killing it.
So I'm not going to hate on the guy.
Nah,
whatever.
He's killing it. Hey.
Let him be successful. Good for him, and I hope I do what he's doing one day.
Hey, if I could make it work with an iPad, I'd do it too.
Yeah,
and he got it. So I know it's an iPad that he's got there, but good for him.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. Can't take that.
Play the cards right. Yeah. And here's your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't start this too long ago. When did you start this?
About a year ago, I guess.
About a year. So
I was probably one of the first guys. I think I was the first mob podcast.
Like before Francis.
Well, everybody. And, he used to do something. He did interviews.
I think Mike's got his own now where he's talking about, like, he'll review movies and all that stuff. Yeah, you got some good shit in there.
Yeah. I did the insert of Linda Scarpa's book about Greg, and, I did the writing in that. And I did a lot of stuff.
And that YouTube channel will be in the description. Do you like doing the podcast?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like the positive stuff. Honestly, I don't like the negative stuff, and and I really don't want to talk about it. I keep saying I just want to just forget it because it's nothing there. The positive stuff with the kids and getting all the kids to listen to somebody's stories, because none of them end good. If they listen, what I just said, all the bosses, all right, what do you think's going to happen to you?
Yeah.
When they're making guys in their underwear and, because they don't trust they're wearing a wire, and then guys that are in the room are wearing a wire, and, what are you inducting it?
Now, think back in your time. Can you imagine a guy going in there in his underwear because they're worried that he's got a wire on him? To even be accepted into that position, for that to be a possibility, right?
Like, why would you accept him if you can't trust him?
So, what I can't understand is who the fuck would vouch for somebody that you got to strip down to nut huggers to possibly get made?
Yeah.
I mean, am I missing something? Or
no? I mean, I agree.
How do you get
but
proposed?
Here's the thing. Forget about those guys. How about when you got a guy, Joe Messina, who's the boss? They gave up all the ceremonies, was wearing a wire. So who's conning these kids?
What the fuck?
Yeah. And the old timers that are involved in the life, I get it too. Like, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I always say this. I'm not trying to convince them out of the life. They're in their life the whole life. They're stuck this way. But if you're a young guy and you really going to even think about stepping in this, you're crazy. There's nothing there anymore.
You're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you're out of your fucking mind.
You're gonna die. You're gonna go to jail. Yeah. And if you go to jail for life, you're dead anyway.
Yeah.
You're going to be under constant stress.
It's not worth it.
And that will fucking kill you.
Right.
So one way or another, you're going to die.
Yeah. So it's not worth it. So I don't understand what anybody's...
Well, again, it comes back to just the...
At least in our lifetime back then was, and I'm older than you, but there was no surveillance like today. There was no sentences like today. There was a ton of cash out there, not like today. So I don't know what they're looking at,
I think it's just what's that word? Like the stigma or like the coolness. Yeah. Like, this is cool.
Well, that's why I keep saying about John Gotti. I hate these fucking idiot kids or men, not even kids. He died like a man. He was a man's man. You're in your fucking bedroom eating pizza and drinking fucking soda and a beer, and you're talking about this poor bastard that died like a dog. Like you're acting like after one day, forget they won't last more than that. They'll be banging on the door and saying, "I'm sorry, I'll never talk like this again."
Yeah.
So what are they talking about when they're talking about that poor guy? Had never lived a good life. He died young too. You didn't die an old guy.
And all the trials.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine the stress that. I mean, he walked around and was flashy, but we know when that trial shit isn't fun.
No.
Even though he beat it and he got it, he had his connects to do whatever. Still, I mean, fuck, that process is a bitch.
Here's what and no one else says. Nobody says this, but I do. How many times you stay in those cells and cry your eyes out? How many times you're on the telephone crying to your family? How many times gangsters, killers that I know, a ton of them, big, tough killers, were crying their eyes out, begging, crying like babies.
Cold-blooded killers.
Cold-blooded. I seen it all, and I did it all, too. And, people go, "Oh, you cry." Yeah, you're going to cry, you stupid bastard, because you're not in that position. When you're in that position, you're emotional, you're frustrated, you're missing your family, you think you're done. Everybody's going against you, losing everything. Life is over. If someone, when they fake it and they don't tell the truth to all this, and my job now is to tell the truth to kids about this stuff, because hopefully I'll reach them, and then they don't have to do that. They don't have to cry. They don't have to suffer. They don't have to be Pat Nee out of Boston, right? Pat Nee, he was a gangster, nice guy out of Boston. He was in jail when his son got killed. Do you know the crying, the misery? These guys don't get this stuff. There was another guy I didn't like, Scott, the cop. He was involved in Burns. They killed a cop in New York. And at first I was friendly with him, and then I didn't like him. And we almost got into a couple of fights. But as a human being, I felt terrible for him because his son got killed when he was in jail. I mean, these are the things that nobody wants to talk about that is reality of that life. And they want to say, "Oh, he's a tough guy." You hear him crying. And I played a tape of a couple of guys crying purposely because they were making fun of guys like me or different guys. And I'm saying, you think that you're the same guy who was just knocking me from pillow to post. That's you crying. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but stop acting like you're a tough guy, like you didn't cry, because we all do.
Everybody's got a heart, man.
We all do.
Yeah.
If you don't think that John Gotti stayed in that cell and cried at times, then the family. Listen, he was a human being. He had a heart somewhere, because I seen some of the good sides of him. So, when people think, like, they're just bullshitting themselves because people beg out of sadness, out of depression, out of things happening to their family. And I think more of people talking more like this is so much better than digging at each other on stupid YouTubes back and forth every day.
Yeah, I know you killed a lot of people or shot them or whatever, so I didn't want to harp on that too much because, again, every interview you go on, it's just, how many people did you fucking kill? How'd you kill them? What kind of gun did you fucking use, John? Right? First off, you remember probably. And, okay, that's already been said. So, I hit it because people want to hear it, but not just harping on the same fucking shit over and over again, And with that crying shit, Joe, his father died.
Yeah.
And when he was in, and they wouldn't even let him go to the funeral.
Yeah, I know.
Even with, armed guard for 5 minutes.
My friend Eddie Hannon my friend Eddie Hannon grew up with me, lived on my corner. He was a bank robber. My friend since we're 5 years old. I told stories about when he wanted to fight me when we were kids. It was funny. I didn't want to fight him. I was scared to fight him. And my father made me go down. But I'm going to tell you something. We were in jails together. Funny guy, not a tough guy as we got older. But his mother, he did all the years. He was getting out in 2 weeks. His mother was in the hospital. He begged, can I see my mother? They wouldn't let him go see. She died. He came home 2 days later, and he drank himself to death. He died. And nobody sees this part. I was in his cell while he was banging his head on the wall. He was crying crazy. And he just did 20-something years, and he did good time. He wasn't one of those guys. He did time. He played around all day. Really did good time. And then that broke him. And when people say, people don't want to hear this part, or see, he's a pussy, or whatever they're going to say. Yeah, and they talk stupid because he doesn't get his mother back. His mother's name was Rosie, by the way. And that's how, I know him well. And I felt so bad for him when he was crying like that. You're crying yourself because you're watching him cry. And, when people don't want to be real and tell these stories, how you're broken, how you break down, how you're depressed, how there's so many guys that Louis Torrey down here, that name from Philly, he hung himself, or Greg De Palma in his house, he hung himself, or Scarfa's kid hung himself.
Yeah, his kid, fucking kid.
So these are the things that nobody wants to talk about, but I like to talk about them because I want people to say, hey, this world ain't worth it, and all the people suffer. Nicky's wife suffered, his other son suffered, well, it doesn't matter who likes him or doesn't like him. And I talk about the Gottis, whether they hate me or not. I know they're suffering. Stop, man. Stop this bullshit. And I've already offered my hand 100 times. Be a man and go help me talk to kids. And I don't know how many times you can keep saying the same thing.
They don't want to.
No, because somehow he's in this competition of who went first and ratted. So I give him the winning today. You won.
Now let's go help some fucking kids. Right?
Yeah, but you can't change the facts of your life. I'm sorry.
I couldn't imagine, when my mom died, everybody thought I got in trouble or something happened. I just, I fought it off. Even Rob was kind of he was checking up to make sure, but, I kind of ducked and dodged it for a month, just trying to ignore it. And then when the mail started to get forwarded to my house, and then every day I see the fucking name. And it cooked me. 4 weeks, I just sat on the couch. I didn't give a fuck about money. I didn't give a fuck about work. I didn't give a fuck about the phone. Nothing. It buries you. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care if it's John Alite who's killed 1 million people, this guy who's killed 1 million people, or this little peanut over here. We all got hearts, and it's tough. And I can imagine dealing with that in there.
Yeah, well, I think, when people think I was so violent, right, and they think, but they don't know why you're so violent, because really you don't really give a fuck for your life. You don't care if you die. Yeah, that's why I was an extreme. Other guys, I knew they were faking it. I never understood how they were faking, but I couldn't. Once I stayed with them a little, I knew who was really faking it. I was way ahead of everybody. Until I started going to therapy more, I started understanding I was ahead of them because I really wasn't faking it. I didn't care if I got killed when I went through that door. Now I do. Back then I didn't.
Because you didn't love yourself.
No,
right?
I didn't love myself. No, I just wanted bad shit to happen to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what I wanted, but I didn't give a shit about my own life. And over the last couple of years, I started caring more about my life. But before that, I really didn't care. Even when I came home, I didn't really care about my life. I was miserable. I was miserable because I couldn't relate to everything that was going on in my life. And you want to harm yourself. Although I wouldn't kill myself, in other ways I wanted to harm myself.
But you're a strong individual and other people aren't. And then they come home and kill themselves.
Yeah.
You know? And
My friend Brian killed himself. I got a lot of guys. I didn't go through all the names. They all killed themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got terrible struggles. And this is the part that I want to keep talking to kids about. I had therapists on my show. We did some talks with them. I had other people on my show, different attorneys. So I did have people to discuss this because these are the things I really want to push my podcast more to.
Yeah, why is therapy such a fucking... Why is that looked down so upon in La Cosa Nostra? Because the mafia is in Italy.
Yeah.
This isn't the mafia.
No.
But why... I guess because they're afraid that you're going to tell the
You're not going to talk about that. It's about your own inner self. It ain't about what your crimes.
Yeah.
You don't even have to talk about those. It's ego stuff. It shows like this bullshit thing about you too weak so that you need a therapist. And the reality is that you become stronger with therapy, not weaker. I've
been going to therapy for 6 years, every single Tuesday, Dr. Agressi. And he's one of those doctors where I'm like, hey, John, is the sun bright today?
Yeah.
When you drink that coffee, how does that make you feel? You go in and he talks to you just like a man,
Yeah.
What do you think about this fucking shit that's going on now? And eases your way into it. And I think what some people don't understand about therapy, when you find a good one, it might just be that one sentence. You're there for an hour, and if you have a good one, it's not just harping on you. They talk about other shit. What's going on in the news, your YouTube, and then they quick sneak some shit in because they know you're hard-headed.
Yeah.
And what I found for me personally was it could just be that one sentence or one line that would stick, and then that would change a lot of things in my life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that anybody that's been through anything should.
Oh, 100%. I always push it.
Yeah.
And I seen, like I said, I seen so many guys suffer. It's just the street ain't gonna bring no happiness.
Yep. And now's the time for you to be doing this because you're hot on that show. Everybody's waiting for the next one to come out.
Yeah.
And you're doing a great thing, and you're going on tour, right?
Yeah.
You're doing that.
Yeah.
That should be a good time.
Yeah. I'll be on tour for the next. I leave in 3 weeks. I'll be gone probably about 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of filming.
Good.
Yeah.
You think movie?
Yeah, I mean, I got the TV series that the guys are playing us in it, so we're just consulting on it. Then we got another one that we're actually in it. It's reenactments, and then I got one coming out in September that's already done on Brazil, the prison, and when I took off on the run.
Where's that going to be on?
I think that's Disney Plus and Nat Geo.
Fuck.
Yeah, Disney picked up a lot of this genre, which I'm shocked.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Wow. That's good. Let's go through his social media and anything, you want to promote other than, the books, the Patreon.
On my website, johnalite.com. And
yeah, there's your Instagram.
That's my two sons, yeah. Yep, my son, Matt and Johnny, they don't, they stay away from this life, thank God. And I don't want them in this life or near this life, so, yeah.
Jacked. Was Matt in the blue?
Yeah.
That's the one I saw.
Yeah, Matt's jacked up.
Rob, he was there was a thing on him, and it was, I think it was, you were a little bit heavier. I think you had just gotten out. And he's pushing Matt to do push-ups, and he's got a beater. They both have wife beaters on. And that kid, he's broad like him. But when you see that kid in a wife beater, he is ripped as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And like you could see everything, the veins, and you could tell it's not like all fucked up shit. Like you take it.
No,
you could tell it's hard work because everybody thinks you take steroids, and you're gonna get lean. You take steroids, you're gonna get, you could take fucking Anavar, but still. And then your Facebook page. This will all be in the description. Your website, your Twitter. Get that right there. I'm gonna get the VIP because I want to see the videos, just because I think they're interesting. You know what I mean? So instead of watching fucking Goodfellas 100 million times that you've seen 100 million times, you ever run into Henry Hill?
No, actually, he was involved. This is years ago. He called a guy that was talking to me about doing another project. Daniel Simone, he wrote the book Latanza, and he wanted me to get involved because he knew I stayed with the Burks. So I went out to the Hamptons and met with him and a couple other guys. And so one of the guys that was involved in that, one of the last guys, is still another guy involved. And so we've been talking about that project. So.
Yeah, he was doing, what was he doing, marinara sauce?
Yes.
Or I saw when Howard's there.
Yeah.
I got to ask you one more question. Did you ever run into Lefty Ruggiero?
No.
I like Donnie Brasco
Yeah.
because to me, tell me if I'm wrong, because you're the big, you're the guy, right? Is Donnie Brasco not probably the closest movie that there is out there to what really goes on?
Yeah, well, you know why? Because listen, he played them to a really, depicted the truth, because Lefty was so broke. And most of the mob guys are like that. They're broke. So you can get in with them, just what he did. He came in, and it was just like Jack Garcia did the same thing with Greg De Palma, the father. They come in with a couple of bucks, and these guys are so desperate for a couple of bucks, they let anybody in. And these guys really showed the truth of what goes on with the mob, that a lot of these guys aren't the brightest guys in the world. People think they were all sharp and making all kinds of money, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. So, I agree with you. They were good movies.
I just think that one depicts it.
Oh, it does.
Like Goodfellas is fun and funny and shit and whatever else. Bronx Tales are great movies.
Yeah. Chaz Palminteri. I'm looking to go on his show, actually.
Are you?
Yeah.
Ah, man. Sonny.
Yeah.
I got
it's a great actor.
I got Lilo coming in.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, he's coming in late September.
Yeah.
Personal thing. I used to always watch it growing up. See.
I heard somebody was trying to get him to come on my show. I forget who, because I never talked to him. And he said, no, he doesn't want to come on my show because I rat it. Yeah. I don't know if that's true. But if it is, you can ask him on the air. Yeah, you can ask him. Yeah, I ain't got no qualms with it either. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you really change your life, then you change your life. If you didn't change your life and you're going to think like that, then you didn't change your life. There is no middle ground. So, he's not a killer. He's just a kid that was involved in a bad shooting of a police officer. So, he's lucky he didn't get, because he could have got life.
What did he get?
Yeah, I think like 10 years.
Yeah, it was 10.
He had a bad drug problem, fucked up his life. And, listen, I hope for his sake he's doing the right thing. And I don't hold no animosity to him either. But, I don't like mixed, you can't play middle of the road. So, either you're in or you're out, or it's not both. And, if you wanted to be that hardcore gangster, you'd be doing life. So, and if you want to change your life, I'm good for you. If you found God and all that, and you're off drugs, I give him a lot of credit. But if you're going to talk like that, then you got to walk like that, and you're not a gangster. So, this is my own personal feeling. Pass a good message, that's...
Yeah, no, I'll ask him.
Yeah, I'm curious myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm always curious about mindsets of guys that, you're not involved in what we were involved with. So, he doesn't have the understanding. I'm just curious, the mentality, if you really change, then change.
You never met Lefty. Fuck.
No.
Because I heard the wiretaps. Because he just cracks me up.
Yeah.
I play with he's funny as hell. Do you ever hear the wiretaps? And by the way, you got a loyal dude here.
Yeah, we grew up together with kids.
Okay, he's behind the scenes. Yeah. I just, out of respect, you know what I mean? And for you too.
Yeah, he's been on some other shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny. I'm sure you're sick of sitting in this chair.
No, man, it was good. It was something different, and I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it too, and I think what you're doing is great with the kids.
Thank
and
you.
They'll listen to you, man.
Okay.
And you're going to be on a movie.
Thank you.
And I keep seeing you pop up.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you hopefully.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thanks. Okay.